All right. Let's see here. Hey, what's going on there? I think I have a pretty good connection tonight. Um, I figured it was. I think a lot of people want to talk about this even on a Saturday, kind of late. It's been pretty. Yeah. I guess it's been 10 months since I've done this, and wow. Oh man, nothing's changed. Nothing. Hope you can hear me. All right. I know the connection's going good, but nothing's really changed in this. And this, hmm, let me see here. I'm going to look at my title and kind of riff on a couple things that have been on my mind. And anyway, cool. All right, can you hear me? Um, so, game of skill is what this treasure hunt was called, a game of skill, right? Um, in gaming, that would be the classification. Um, I looked up game of skill in quotes and fake winner in quotes. There are not too many precedents in court for this stuff. There are not many different court cases, not much to gauge this on. And looking at actually different case involving summoning a fake witness or a fake, there's so many different ways, things that come up on Google if you even find enough of what you're looking for. But in a legal sense, to summon an alias or there are cases where people have handled a fake account for fraud, a fake accounts online, things like that. Or there hasn't been a fake persona per se that has been busted and um, tried or whatever. Some of it ends up criminal. Some of it, there's not much civil court precedent for this. So the brainstorming right now, the focus for me right now is how do you get the fake winner of a contest or their handlers in your sites? How do you engage this? And only because they continue to maintain over 2 years later this thing, or a year and a half, whatever, since the name came out. But how do you grab a a schemer that kind of pushes the envelope, stays within the legal framework, but then begins to go maybe into court and possibly starts, maybe, in my opinion, making up paperwork. It would look like either paperwork or if you could share this somewhere, that would be cool too. Maybe I could too. I don't know, but I will do that right now. But to make up paperwork, it's either I don't think it would be photoshopped email. I think it would be based on real email. Nobody would be that crazy. No. I don't know. Hold on, I'm going to share something here. Damn, what would you call it? Hang on a second. It's not working. But summoning people and their handlers, a fake. So there were people getting trolled by fake accounts, fake names, things like that. But the even cases where fake names were used to make money off of things, right? And so it seems like it's possible to draw out the real answer as to the fake person. It seems like it's possible. Um, it's possible to draw a fake person out. How strange. Why isn't this posted correctly? It's taking up bandwidth. Um, so getting a fake. Wait a second. I know what to do. All right. It might be an echo here because I'm going to redo this. Okay, here we go. All right, let me turn that off, go back. Post in. I posted in Force Fenn Treasure Hunt Conspiracy. All right. Yeah, I've been bugging them. Yeah. I'm an asshole in print, whatever. I'm kind of friendly in voice, person. I have to be because I can't help it. I am a nice person. I really am. Believe me. um, I'm kind of shy about giving up information and position on exactly my thoughts because if I start to give away everything I think is going on, then it's easy for somebody to sidestep it or make a plan. And it's kind of important to. I think a lot of people wear it on their sleeve. I overtalk certain things, but I don't overtalk how I'm going to fight or what I'm going to do, or I don't tend to give away much on any method or plan or strategy dealing with people. I don't just tell them what I'm going to do. I'm not a real loose cannon, but there is strategy. I guarantee. I'm pretty sure what I'm doing might work. And sorry if I'm doing a slow start here. Few minutes in. Couple watchers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Susie, for coming in first. There's another person there. All right, so I posted. Good. All right. So, wow. There's a lot to think about. I'm not a fast talker. It'd be great if I could have a open panel. I still, I'm like still figuring out the damn doorknob on the live streaming. I think you have to pay for Zoom or whoever to have. There's probably something that allows multiple people to come in, live meeting, whatever, for free. But I'm lazy. Whatever. I didn't go into all of that. I'm not just trying to be one way here about it. So here's what I think. All right. So anonymous. I'm bored too. This is why I did this. I am so fucking bored. Like, honestly, like, I don't really want to slam the guitar or make a lot of noise. I mean, I could talk, whatever. It's late for other people though in the house, but the yeah, Saturday night. I mean, there's nothing but mud for a few miles around here. It really rained. I think it was about 3 to 4 inches in just a few hours, which in steep canyon country, I mean, wide canyons like where I'm at don't flood so badly, but the narrow canyons are toast. I saw one place was 35 feet deep below the road, right off of it. Like it wouldn't kill you if you fell off it, but now it will because it's 50 feet. It gained 15 inches deeper in one 6 hour period or less. And that was a few miles away. The road in is hell. I mean, you could film The Shining here. Anyway, so like anonymous, the collective, the group. I think they're paying attention to this because they look for people. I guess anonymous would be like the Mission Impossible of the Iron Force of the internet, or one of many. There's probably one for every, or 10 for every country, but whoever they are, they do influence a couple things. They do certain things in this, and they've tipped me off. And I don't mean odd chasers tipping me off. I mean, let's just say a foreign power once said, hey, these people are doing this. Another person said, I'm in your town and saw people do this. Another person said, and they're not in the chase. They're separate people, probably just trolling or whatever, but they're tipping off certain things and they're doing something about stuff. And I can tell they're very computer savvy. I don't really try to do all that, but thinking that they're going to do something about this. And I'm just saying, hello. But I do think hacktivists, I do think collectives, I think other foreign powers, I think since he was USAF, if there's a code or something that cracks old information, any given country, 10 or 20 or 30 of them are probably keeping an eyeball or 2 or 4 on this with the information that could come out about like the 60s US military or whatever. There's reasons why they do this. They keep on it. And but there are many more people who were never treasure hunters that are watching this than you even think. I think there could be 3,000 different computer workers any given business day that for governments around the world and other agencies that watch this. And I'm not sure why, but it's because there's old Air Force information potentially, and you have to do it. If you're a strategic power, you're going to do it. You're going to watch this treasure hunt because of that. So I've been tipped off that we're watching this on a military level, whatever, or something like that, and that these people are doing this or that. And very, very faintly, not direct names, and not chasers, not in the Southwest or whatever, not in the 48. So what we're going to end up doing, okay, so we want to summon a fake witness, right? And their handlers, right? So if I'm going to put something forward, I have to have my shit together, and I think that if we it has been done before. Fake internet accounts and people usually over trolling each other or whatever that, or there was a fraud wire and internet fraud combination thing. There were other styles of fake people, but now we're dealing with game of skill fake winner, right? In my opinion, man, you know me, I've been doing this a while, but they're gonna. I think that there's something I sat on for a while here. There's something I did not tell people till about last night. I got into a little binge about what the gold is, the gold, right? And it's not my newest thing. When I first started studying the elements, it was almost 6 years ago when the cipher broke. I was in the elements exactly 6 years ago, about a month before I found that cipher. The elements. I'm like, well, there's gold, and that's what made me look. I don't know if I'd found other clues besides AS at the beginning of the poem, and a few things that made me think, well, look at elements, man. But gold's in there, AU, and so the gold title to the gold seems like it's not quite gold; it's title, right? Somebody seems not sure if they wanted to give the gold or the title, right? There's a difference. There is a book, Canyons of the Colorado, that I did do a branch of my solve tree into, and it's not as important as I thought. But the paddles and the oars, and they lose them, they go spinning, they're dizzy, all that. But I'm not thinking the title. I'm thinking there's always an overall thing to each clue set. There's like any word in the poem might mean. Now it's starting to look like four different things. Like it might mean an overall factor of a way of looking at everything. It might mean a place somewhere else, like the elements or a book. It might mean a place on the USGS map and a feature on the ground. You might see four things like that in one clue, right? Yes. I'm going to look at the chat here because I'm starting to blab. I didn't think I was going to talk enough. I'm like, what am I going to say? I don't have shit, right? All I do is fucking go off on people. And I'm really sorry about that. Honestly, I get as manic as anybody about this, whatever, sure. Other days I have really good days. I have good days at home and in life and in general. It's not, but this is a fast heartbeat. This thing we're in. Like Carl Sagan said, you don't get to escape very often from something like that. And we don't want to escape. We want this to be here in some way. We all want it to stay. We want to be able to do this. There might be, if somebody ever says, I have the truth or whatever, we're all going to think there's still some greater truth. There must be something more, right? There's always something more. I can, well, thank you very much. Thank you. Wow. I would give hugs right now. Nobody hates each other here. I really have maintained that the whole time. Nobody even, there's slight dread. Sure, when people are in certain bents, I get my bent on, and you know what that's like. But right now I'm in more of a neutral ground. I'm trying to, everybody's spending more time figuring out the conspiracy or whatever may be going on. But I'm thinking maybe other ways to kind of approach this, like that. Okay, I'm just going to say it, that gold. Thank you. I don't dislike you either at all. I rather admire you. If I give people shit, I might admire them too. Or you know, if somebody is an enemy, I won't be there or whatever. I'm not going to actually fight usually. So, but if I'm giving my opinion, I care what they might think, or that like I'm bouncing that off. But opinions are worth a lot. We do have many, and they change frequently. We all change, and on day to day thoughts about what happened in this or whatever. There are day to day thoughts, and yeah, this is what I really think here is we're looking at some sort of. Well, I'm going to just tell you. I forgot. I was going to tell you a few minutes ago that I think the gold is just the elements. I think he. I know this is going to bum people out, but he might not have hid the gold outside somewhere. I'm just. It's hard for me to tell like a family member that. We say that to each other a lot here, but if we start talking to where people who knew we trusted this treasure hunt to be legitimate, and maybe it is, right? But we told them it's real. He really did this, and I have something, and I'm going to go find it. And then to say, finally, he might not have hid any gold. And okay, so that's hard on anybody. But here I am feeling like I have a unique perspective with some sort of deciphering of the poem. And that kind of gets my juices going a lot. And just the fact that there's something there. Oh, yeah, alchemy. I even found a stone once, a long time ago, and I put all this thought into it and did all this research. And I did this kind of thing a couple times before, both with the internet and before I really had it. And the pursuit, the quest, it never sort of ends. I haven't really ended any of them. They never end. And it's neat to keep things open. But for once, it would be good to have a finalization of something. And I think in the chase, I found something. And that is that the gold was something to find in the poem. And then you find the gold, you find gold in the elements, and then there's a lot of nice word games and a cipher, and it decodes things and whatever. It even goes to a spot. I forgot that part. I'd written this idea in the last 24 hours in a couple places, but I forgot to put that it even encoded to a spot, and or several spots. I'm going to tell you, I checked 39 plus different spots, different places you drive to, miles apart or more. And obviously I had spots before what I thought the cipher finally did, because it was a few places before I found it, but then all these places after, because I started just lining up numbers in the elements and other things in the poem and whatever, using that simple substitution, deriving numbers. And there can be any number of places. There are even other places in the correct solution, in my opinion. There are nearby and far away places connecting to the real one. And so that gets confusing. It's very hard to get down to where it's one thing. That is very hard to do, to decide on something and never change it. And I'm going to say I might have the unique perspective because the gold is the gold in the elements. AU number 79. it's right between something that spells big in it going down, and then waters kind of going backwards and across back towards that, and they both point to gold, kind of an L shape. And what you're looking at now, that he may have confided in people. Now I'm going into deep tree limb edges here, but where the leaves are on the edges of the limbs, but out on a limb. So I'm going to say he didn't really hide it. Somebody was getting close. He didn't really hide it. Somebody's getting close. Some people died again, unfortunately, right in this time frame. That was it, the last draw on that. But then we're looking at, okay, so he didn't really hide it. Somebody was closing in. I don't know if maybe he didn't like them, whatever, right? And then somebody dies in the thing, some people, the snowmobilers, one guy, and that. And so he may have confided some things in some people that got close to him. And it happens. People just got silver tongues. They can get in there, and they've always been better than I have at kissing the boss's ass or whatever, right? I've never been good. I just turn up a guitar and shred over it. I don't want to bother with social climbing a lot. I do mine a different way. It is by selling a ticket, making a statement, whatever. But so this whole thing. So okay, once again, let me go back over it if we got new people here, because I always want videos to do this, and I'm like, where's the recap? So no, okay, so did not hide actual gold. It's the gold in the elements. Okay. Good for you. You solved the elements. Here's your Ovaltine, right? Drink more Ovaltine. Okay. Didn't hide a chest. It's the gold in the elements. Solver was closing in on a location because he did encode the poem to have a location or many. He then pulls the chest. Somebody dies in whatever order that is. But then people step up, butt kissers, whatever, offer an alternative. And how can we know what their plan was of the alternative? All we see is that it's obvious. Anybody who's wondered and doubted things and really got mad kind of knows it's obvious that there's a push on certain things. There's a lot of writers. There's writers in at least two different groups doing different things. There's a bookstore. A lot of people don't talk about the bookstore. I've seen some. A bookstore heavily involved. There is another group of people that created the pseudonym Jack. One even met on neutral ground and had this guy sign some things. I noticed he dropped out his page and everything before that last court thing. I'm not trying to say whatever, but I just say things look like stuff. Things look like certain things. I know who's running from court. I've been in the hood, man. I can always tell if the cops are coming, what like people are doing. I can tell if you got money on you, for instance. Like I could tell who's hiding money, or from me if they owe me. I could tell. And I knew people that could tell if I had money. I couldn't hold it. I would be like, no, nothing, man. I don't got shit, man. They're like, get the fuck out, man. I'm going to roll your ass. Whatever, right? But so some people know bullshit when they hear it and see it. And I've seen people that blow me away at like knowing bullshit. I've known sea captains and all kinds of people, man. Worked with insane people. So let me just say, we feel what may be going on, and so now, how to summon a witness? How to summon a fake winner or the handlers? And in doing so, in summoning a fake winner and handlers, you cause people to run. People will run away. You'll thin it out a bit. And then your next plan, once it thins out some, the scared people go, you just leave behind the double down people. People who keep doubling down, they stay and fight, right? But then you don't really fight. You just, what's going on, dude? Now yeah, man. So, yeah. Cool, man. We got a house here. I'd play to 7 people, man, a guitar. I've had some good times doing that. So anyway, but talking tonight, 7 people, So we got the plan without giving out, like, nobody thinks I'm going to do what I say. We all say we're going to do stuff, or we're going to hit back hard or whatever. It doesn't materialize. I understand. A lot of times you don't want to try too hard or beat too hard on somebody if you're not sure or whatever, right? Or even if, a lot of people are nice. A lot of people, in my opinion, are very smart and very nice. And I always see the baby in people. I always see the nice, smart, curious thing. I hardly ever see a waste of like skin and flesh. Like, I hardly ever think somebody is that, I think we've been generally duped. I think we've been even when people are as bright as most in this. Very bright people, man. I'm not kidding. Like, brighter than a lot of band members and whatever. So, look, we're honest. We got taken for a ride. And you know what? Forrest Fenn was honest. He had a very straight shooting time. He did about 7 good years of honesty and this fun deception that we knew was nothing bad. It's just simple deception because it is a game of skill. And I'm going to tell people, there could even be cases where when you're taking a test and somebody's standing over your shoulder and says no ciphers, but they wrote a book that said cipher in it, like Susie found the hint for that in a cipher. So that's amazing, because that came after I found a cipher in the poem, really for no reason, kind of arbitrarily found it, and then realized later how you would go about doing it. I middle engineered it. But the thing is, what exactly, let's see here. See, I jump around too much, man, and it's late. But I'll say this. He gives hints and changes his mind later in scrapbooks or whatever, or speeches or talks, and this is after he knows there's somebody that cracked the poem. I'm telling you, it's whatever it is that Gasoline Mensa are, they do fit with Susie's book hint perfectly, because it's sodium is involved, the element, in 2 names in that, by 2 names, a double confirmation on sodium. There are other things, but so he tells you later there's no ciphers, or he'll say there's none of this other stuff or it's too complicated or whatever. But people administering a test could stand over your shoulder and give you hell and tell you you're wrong and give you this mental abuse over your shoulder, giving a test because it's part of the test. You got to understand, when you start getting into tests later on in life, like the military or I don't know, other places that might be a little bit sadistic in training, but you start to realize that a test might involve a whole lot more than just a straightforward thing. And like I said, they might tell you one thing, tell you another, and it's all that diaphanous, split up information and all this stuff. When all that should tell you is that you should stay maybe more focused on the poem itself instead of doing all this other stuff he's talking about, because you can't find it. But what we find in the Hoaxers is that they talk about everything else. They're drawing on baser elements because they're drawing on lower level things because there's more of them. And it's kind of like wasting, I don't know, it's kind of wasting it's kind of opening this chasm and causing a lot of confusion. And it's just a part of what looks to be on purpose. But just keep in mind, somebody giving a test to solve something might hover over you and fuck your mind up on purpose. Tell you, oh, you're the one that's close or whatever, get in your pants, whatever. I'm just saying, I don't know the guy, but they might just do all of that. It might be all of this shit when all you might have wanted to do was the poem, right? Or some other branches off the poem. If it says go check this or use this chart or use this book or a map, a particular map, actually a very specific map, not in the books. But the part of the test is to change your mind, to get you away from it if you're close to it. Do everything to get you away from it if you're close to it, and to do everything to get you outside if you're not sure you want to look. It's all this basic, straightforward kind of stuff, kind of like what a carny might do. Spend some money, shop here, walk through, look at this, don't look at that. I don't know, right? Don't touch this or that, right? I don't know the kind of person he was. You'd have to be his age and know him a lot younger to know what he is. And then later in life, people change a little bit too. But I'm not going to get into what I think happened between me and him, because that's fucking ridiculous. I didn't know him. I can't really tell you some shit happened between us, man. He never answered a single email. It was about 6 or 8 of them, in a few years. And entertaining guy. I think he just kind of gave it away to people that were had big plans, and those people didn't like me. I'm pretty sure of that. Or liked me less when I realized, oh fuck, the worst possible people have the reins or the power or something. And oh look, months or a year or two later, they're hanging out with family members, and okay, well, that's weird. Oh boy, this isn't good for me, obviously, or a lot of people. But power grabs happen, and people do things, and they're players, man. They're gamers. They'll do stuff. They'll get in on it. And it just all looks a certain way. When you have a dream and you think something in 1 second in the dream, or it only lasts a few seconds, but it did so much. This is the kind of actual headspace I'm keeping in this whole entire thought. This entire bubble is like all these things connect. You see all these things connect like this massive neural network. And it's hard to explain exact things, especially if I can't prove anything, but it all proves off of all the theories combined. That's the hardest thing to prove as well, as far as the ending, what happened. But so it looks like some fake winners stuff got passed through a court and came out paperwork and stamped and winning a case, right? It looks like it's going to work, doesn't it? Does it? It does, right? But have no fear. I'm going to get to something here in a minute. All right. Look. Okay. And you're gonna see it unfold. It's been slowly working. People that are full of shit ain't gonna hang on to big power grabbers. And if I was full of shit, or if I was, you know what? It's not that I'm full of shit. Nobody thinks that. I don't think, anyway. Or maybe they don't think I'm too biased, but maybe it just, I feel strongly about some sort of obvious big cracked poem or whatever, right? So it's the only reason I'm really sticking with this, because I'm like, they're trying to do something. What are they doing, right? What are we going to do about it? So they passed the papers through court. Emails from Jack to Forrest. Well, that's Gmail. And you know, his Earth link was what was printed in the books. And then he stopped answering when he said he was going to stop answering years ago. 4 years ago, stopped answering, right? And then somebody takes over his Gmail. And so here's one person on Forrest's Gmail acting like Forrest. And or probably talking or asking him what to say or whatever, but there could have been other emails answered where they didn't ask. They're like, he's not looking, I'm just going to answer or talk or do something or set something up 4 years ago. And the other person who's playing Jack is somebody else. Their best friend in the chase, most trusted confidant, power grabber. The one power grabber on Fenn's computer and the one power grabber acting like Jack. And the plan is 4 years ago, we're going to have this thing, and on Reddit and everywhere else, we're going to have a trail. We're going to start a trail now, right? And this is where people get in a lot of trouble. They're getting a lot of fucking trouble for trying shit like that, because it's internet fraud and money was made, okay? So the thing is to summon a fake winner. The fake winner is theirs, not Fenn's. He may have heard, or, you know, I don't know. Well, whatever y'all think you want to do. Oh, yeah, Mr. Fenn, we're well into this. We're going to keep it going. And because of whatever, the dreaded what, right? So, okay. So we're going to pass this, and we passed it through court the other day. Oh, my God, we won a case through court, they must have said. And it worked, right? And it's not fake emails. It's two users, real emails years ago, the plan in place, the whole thing going down. Forrest checks out. Forrest is like, well, if I can do the initial wrong steps and then pass away or something, right? And then you guys are indemnified or non-liable or whatever jargon to keep going with this. And this is why we're down to like just two people talking as Fenn and Jack on real email servers and addresses. One is legitimized by Fenn, who later dies. One is a fake Jack Stoof thing and is talking, and they're talking about things, and it's almost like, I'm going to just let you know what I'm doing, right? We're going to make it. And who does that? Do we know anybody else in the chase that kind of telegraphs and says, I know what I'm going to do? Or when they're imitating somebody, and they have before, we know this, they were caught. So, okay. Who else does that? So I'm not saying any fucking names, man. I am not going to say any names. All right? But We know the style already. We know where we're at. Okay, if you know, you know. All right. One name is Fenn's Gmail account, the new one. For years, like 2 years of before supposed find, one name is Jack, right? At Gmail, right? Let's just start another Gmail. We'll just use Jack, right? Maybe their name starts with J. Maybe it's another J person. I don't know. Anyway, so we're gonna then, but you know what they didn't realize? That they're faking a motherfucking finder with a solve where the gold is the element gold. There's no fucking gold that was hidden, and they're faking a finder name and making this very feminized, strange character who they've brought into from homosexuality to heterosexuality, or he's just all over the place. He's just everybody. It's God. It's an angel, right? It's genderless, right? Okay. Anyway, listen, man, I don't want to offend anybody. I support everybody. So anyway, listen. Okay. The problem is they started faking this fucking thing with real gold on a table. They even had him, they had a random couple of people interviewing Fenn, writers that turned into part of the scheme. They know about it. A writer by name, and then his supposed good friend, Jack. And, but man, there's everything but Jack. That's the thing. There's everything. There's all but Jack. Everybody knows Jack, speaks for Jack, fucking gets all this information. And the main guy that met him in an airport closes his fucking Facebook shop right before the court case. And so, you know how this looks? Doesn't look good, does it? It doesn't look good because you're a handler of a fake guy and you could be summoned, and you probably will be one day. And pray to God it's not a criminal case. I don't think people deserve that. There's very few. There's about 2 people that are alive that deserve that for doing what they did. For making money off of a fake winner. That is the technical fucking thing that happened. So, okay. We're going to, and I don't hate these players at all. I admire how ingenious they did this. If anybody could play me that hard, boy, I'll tell you what, man, you won't be under my roof, but I will play along. And it's very interesting to me. I feel like I'm the wrong motherfucker, but then I go, I'm the right motherfucker, right? You know, you ever have that thought? Like, yeah, I'm the wrong and the right motherfucker for this shit. Am I wrong or right? Am I good or evil? It's hard to tell, right? I don't know. I run with people. I know people on the ground and people in the fucking that don't exist on the internet. I know people that they care. They care. This is stressing you out, man. They look into things, right? They believe something is wrong. And so I'm trying to keep up. I'm going to go scroll back and look. But the Blaze, man. The Blaze, right? I don't know. I think, well, I'm going to say something. The whole thing was armchairable. Now, there are things that help, like the map and the one in the book and the one elsewhere. There are things that help, but the whole thing was armchair solvable, and his scrapbook, I guess, at Jenny's years ago, they'd always set up a question where the question really helped, right? They're setting up a question to ask you, and then he answers it. And it's like, already knows that it's a setup question and an answer, right? The they 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 he the little girl in India, right, is a setup question for, can you armchair this at home? Well, you can't get past the first two clues, whatever. Poem and the map, whatever, right? But there's another item. He didn't say the elements, whatever. So he left out a main thing. You can't do the rest of it past clue 2. So, but it sets up that a disabled person could do this. You can do it at home, the whole thing. And you can, they're not on the ground clues. There are not obvious things on the fucking ground. There's nothing on the ground that's obvious. You know where I'd hide something? I was thinking about places like your first thoughts back in the chase when you start, you're like picturing things where you've been or what you remember or what I would hide in or what would I hide in, something in or whatever. I'd say a fairly steep hillside, something that somebody doesn't want to climb or walk up because you can't see. You kind of bow your head under the tree bottoms to see up the hill. You can't see, the branches are low. All the trees kind of look the same. There aren't any noticeable rock outcrops. It's the same kind of green grass as the green trees. And that's the place I would put something. I would bug out in a tree house and something like that in a nuclear war or Mad Max or whatever. I would put a treasure in a place. If you're one person, you're putting it in your place. If you're an army, you'll put it out on a plain, like the ones they find in southern England and Roman treasures and stuff. They're out on a plain, and armies, nobody was watching them, that lived, it was out on a flat, easy place. It was whatever. Smaller groups of men, 10 to 20 guys hauling treasure, might go to a citadel or a rock top or an outcrop or dig and then cap it with a stone or something. One or two people hiding something is going to be their own place. There's going to be no signs, man, on the ground. There's nothing. Why? Why would you provide a shortcut on the ground to fucking avoid the poem and the books and all that stuff? Why would somebody could take a walk 1,000 feet away. Would you even want them to just get the idea to even take a walk 1,000 feet away? No, probably not. You probably would think of something out of the way, a feature or a cutoff on the map, terrain that's rough but doesn't change much, whatever. Plants, vegetation, maybe not. A cliff, a pyramid, whatever feature, I don't know, stack of rocks, a flag, fences, a weather station, whatever. Something with a camera on it. We've all wondered, hey, there's a camera at the last turn on the road, right off the main road, or whatever. But that's very technical stuff that I know about. Weather enclosure surveillance, telemetry, a telemetry box, right? First off, it's going to get stolen, right? If it has panels and batteries, and a chaser themselves going to steal it. If there's anything out there, it's going to be damaged. The blaze would be damaged, sure, it would be written on. People would put their initials. Yeah, there's nothing like that. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's not a Christmas tree. There's not a nothing, man. It was all to solve and make sure you pretty much knew and you could do it. And I'll tell you, what he thought was easy at the end is not that easy. It's not that fucking easy because you can miss a clue, a major clue at the end. And you could have the general area and search the whole area for however long. And, the Hoaxers, that 25 days thing, that's too... They borrowed so much stuff from people. God, they borrowed from all of you, all of us. They just put a little of everything in there to grab everybody, to just sheep hook them back in, using a little bit of this and that and all the magic and all the talk. And they hire younger people now or whatever. There's new people. It rotates, like, compromised assets in the CIA. They just rotate them out. If somebody got spotted, they put them at the desk, whatever. They bring in new recruits or whatever. They get younger every time, things like that, right? Old stubborn asses, man, I trust them. I give them shit sometimes because of their fucking brains and their ideas and all, but I trust them, and I trust all of you. I trust everybody here, man. I do, because I think we're all here and we show that we don't know something. And even I think I don't know things. I do. I'm aware that I don't know things, right? All right. So we'll get that out of the way. But Levi, you're funny, man. Roger's water brains. It's the poem, it's the books, it's whatever things line up. But unfortunately for the hoaxers, it is not gold in the ground. They made that part up. The chest, all the jewelry, a lot of things were missing. Other things were put in there. It was all moved around. None of that mattered because no solver was going to own it. It was out of play either at the very beginning or never in play, or out of play at the end, but it was out of play. And a second box, no. It would take proving a first box was available to someone. So that's out. There's no more. All there is intellectual things to know, and a group, a community, whatever. Looking at the whole Yellowstone thing. People did everything, contacting the superintendent, getting the permission to. Can we do a hoax here? I can hear it now. Like in the last year, you've got people saying we're going to do a hoax with a GPS thing, or that was even longer than that. And then this year you got 9 Mile Hole thing, and all these paid or people. Something's in it for a bunch of people that just agree to it. They got too much brains to mindlessly agree the way they do and keep contriving, coming up with a new way. But no, I tell you, they'll even go like, I don't believe any of this stuff. Like their counter. They even have a fake counter to 9 Mile Hole. And that gets me angry. Gets me fucking angry, man. The fake counter people. I'm like, come on, man. You're bouncing back and forth. What happened? God damn it. You fucking son of bitches! Fucking South Park on their ass, dude. But why is it so deep of a hoax? Why does it matter so much? Why does it matter? Why do people put millions of dollars? They've spent millions of fucking dollars on press. I'll go click on a story, the news story about Fenn, and it's the same fucking thing, but it's not just a press mirror where one story is used or slightly changed or whatever, or the breaking news or whatever. It's a very contrived story that somebody writes that's getting paid. And they're saying certain things, and they leave out all the stuff, and they put in the good sounding things. And sometimes they put controversy, but the controversy parts of the story are the fake counter, right? A setup for something, and then it's about somebody else's life or their theory on this or whatever, and it's like the usual suspect or something, right? And it all, I have yet to see an independent source apart from all of this that is high above like anything Fenn can give them, any influence. They're high above all this. They've tended to stay out of it, out of embarrassment or something. Like Ducopel, Tony, stays out of it now. He doesn't really. Boy, he could be very powerful in this. Stays out. I don't know if people get paid or sign NDAs or whatever. Have no way of knowing. I only know what I know, and that's limited. But you can base a lot on certain things. Like you'll know if someone's bad to you or something, you can leave them. You'll know enough to leave them, right? You might not know the whole fucking damn thing. There's a time when you want to. You really want to know, right? You're going to fuck something up. You're going to get that other person or whatever. But you leave them. You just leave and it doesn't matter anymore. But we can't really do that with this because it's not a bad lover. It's a corruption. It's a different kind of thing. It's kind of like they're trying so hard that we want to hit back. And there are very few ways to do this, but gold being AU on the element chart and not real gold that was ever available to anybody, and then people making a plan to bail him out. We'll help you. We'll get rid of that person. We'll do a fake thing because we're going to do both because they work hand in hand, the fake setup thing and then getting rid of that real thing that you want to cover up, right? I don't know. It's like, who pissed him off? Like, I know who pissed them off. Those other people, the hoaxers, I know they would do this to anybody. They would do this to any solver. You, me, anyone. They'd do it. So, now in my title, let's see. What else says? So, game of skill, summon a fake winner. Summon the fake winner to court. Summon the handlers. Somebody please, if you're going to sue or whatever, leave your solve out. Like, even I would leave my fucking cipher out of a court case. I would hold that son of a bitch till the end. I would not accuse anybody of being a molester or talk about a solve or anything, man, like the one guy did. I would fucking leave it out and go for sensible things like, I just want to see Jack. We just want to talk. Whatever, right? Scary stuff. This is very scary stuff to them. I want to talk to the handlers. You seem to know a lot about Jack. You even wrote things. We found that you wrote things under the name Jack. So we just want to talk about that. Would you come in? No? Well, okay. And then you go to court again or twice, and then they have to show up. Well, you're summoned, whatever. Summon the handlers. They have to say it's fake or something. Then they have to think of how they're going to say it's fake because they don't leak all the details. It's just very limited details all the time to what points to things they're trying to do. And so you're looking at this has to be done. It really, nobody's going to sit here and fucking walk away without this being done. I'm telling you right now, this has to be done. The fake Jack or the Jack handlers, the people who speak for Jack, have to show up and answer for something. And it has to be forced. It does. Because they keep going. If they would have stopped, nobody would have done that. All right? Now, Hoaxers versus Anonymous, whoo, scary. Now, they can go up against Anonymous if they don't want to do that. And that's a whole different story. But I don't know. I've covered the topics. I didn't think I'd talk this much. I mean, I've got some steam here. You know, I just feel like I'm repeating myself in case there's any new people. But yeah, he owned oil wells. I believe he owned some oil and gas stock, black gold, and tea. Yeah, I don't know. Um, Omega, the watch. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's going to take some very serious clamping down on clues. Like if you got a clue, if somebody has a clue that's like, God damn, this is too good to be true. Like I'm not even changing my mind or whatever. They should clamp down on it. Should definitely get it out there. Get clues to be known, very well known. Get people tired of it. You know, I mean, if it's good, it'll hang around. People will be like, all right, I'm sick of hearing about that. Whatever. It's yeah, we know. So I believe everybody knows. I don't have to punch the cipher down into people. Um, it's we all know what we have, what we're dealing with. We all have the air of all the different cables that connect everything here. Everybody has an amazing grasp of the events and the timelines and the whole thing. And you know, for no reason, like yeah, no reason. There's no reason. Think about it. There's no reason just to be right or just to punish the evil or whatever. You know, there's different things. Or that it's just a daily thing. It's a daily thing. It's dopamine. You know, you habits. You know, release dopamine or whatever. Anti-stress things. Little bit of approval, getting a thought off your chest, approving of others, community, and we're looking at nothing changing for 2 years. But we give people enough rope. They do hang themselves. They do. I tell you, pushing that, that email thing into court and winning is a big deal. And I think that there's trouble ahead for people on that. And they may have felt right about the first half of it. We didn't fake this. These are not fake emails. They were real emails between somebody at Forrest's computer, Gmail, and someone on another end as Jack. Maybe in the same room. You think we'll ever find if those were sent from the same room or somebody right there? This stuff, these computers are, there are people that gather information, and you know, they can know a lot about you and not do anything about it. There are people that know everything about us that do not prosecute. They could prosecute everybody. If you follow someone long enough, you can find something wrong. But is it illegal, immoral, unethical, a sin, whatever, you know? That's the question. And a lot of times in surveillance, they have to not show you that they know. You can't just grab everybody. You just grab people when it's important. It has to be very important to step out of surveillance into charges and stuff like that, or lawsuits. And the thing about civil suits is those people don't use surveillance on each other. They're not allowed to. You know, it's different than fighting the government. I'd love to see the government really get involved, but then again, I don't. I think we want them to because somebody's got to do something, but then we don't because we don't like maybe too much government reach, you know. But um, See, if Forrest didn't verify that 9 Mile Hole was correct, then he may have been. There's always something in emails or things like that that support what they're trying to do. You can find what they're trying to do in the stuff you see, because there's a lot of stuff you don't get to see. Like they were releasing tapes of Fenn talking to certain number one and number two or whoever, and it's imagine that if you had the other 95% or more, 99.5%, you might have maybe one or two things we've really heard out of 200 to 400 minutes of stuff that are important minutes, all of them in this. You certain people working for him might have seen him pacing back and forth, yelling to get rid of this fucking asshole like Frost Nixon did in the last days of his administration. We don't know. It's like Steve Jobs after he died. We got to see how hard he was on his workers, but they thanked him because he was so brilliant or whatever. Then again, so you're either brilliant or you're a cult leader or something. There's a difference. Or you're a person with money that just pays people and buys friends or whatever. I don't know. But I don't think he told people to do stuff unless he did take his life for that reason or whatever. But he was able to get certain things into court documents before he died. It is said he may have lied and then died, for the court documents. That does a lot. There's a lot of people. I hear old people every now and then say, I'll do something drastic to save the family or the cause or whatever. It does come up sometimes. They care. They might have a couple of good younger people that'll carry on something good. Okay, I'll stick my neck out. I'm going to lie for you or whatever. And, the young people will be good if I just help them or whatever. And this is nowhere to even wonder if this was a political battle in some way. I don't know. Some things really happened that were fucked up in the last few years. So we're looking at water. A game of skill and how to get a fake winner into court or his handlers. Yeah. Jack in the clouds. The genderless angel. The guy that shows up with his lightsaber, the Jedi, whatever you want him to be. We all know. I know Jack. I know what he did. That's what they'll tell you. Jack said this or whatever. It was all that. Jack doesn't talk to any of them now. Jack hasn't said nothing. We better make Jack go quiet. Yep, I'm going to quit script writing, Jack. I don't know. They got too wise. They got close. Somebody said something. We're going to stop with the Jack. We have all the Jack we need already. Oh, well, if we need more Jack stuff, we'll just forge through Reddit or pass some documents through court, and or maybe we just got Forrest's computer months before he died. He relinquished command, or got the computer after he died and fucking found a really interesting set of emails, looked at all kinds of emails, 1 million of them or more, decided here's a person that looks like somebody we could frame as this. But then again, you can't just do that. If a real searcher, you can't just use their name. So something was made up. And nobody sued Jack. The reason is because they're suing the Fenn estate because they think that the chest ended up back with them, or that they're denying them or whatever. You'd have to be really sure of that. This lawsuits aren't cheap. Well, the emails were printed out. It seems to me like maybe the guy's lawyer should have said, "Can we see these on the screen? You know, can we do inspect page, right, and find every little thing here?" All right. So there's a lot of things you could have done. Like, why are you handing me paper for Jack correspondence? Why are you handing me more Jack talk than Fenn talking back? Can I see more of Fenn agreeing or disagreeing with this person on something? More things like that. There's another thing, too, that I would have probably done differently than that person, and it would be, oh, 9 Mile Hole is in the memoir, huh? His father at 9 Mile Hole. Oh, fishing logs. Fishing log. Yeah. 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 It's a inundation strategy. It's just a torrent. But and then it floods. So, it gets hoaxed in Yellowstone. Told people, kind of funny, jokingly maybe, I don't know, a year ago, if you keep messing with people, God's gonna destroy it or whatever. But I'm kind of telling it in a metal way, like a metal song, like Dio, like, and God came along, and showed the hoaxers, fucking metal. So, anyway. And a little late, let you lay it down on me. And the devil was on my left shoulder. Gospel works really well in metal. Like, you mix Dio with gospel, you fucking take over the world. It'd be wild, man. Scare people. Anyway, so, yeah, I still haven't said everything I've been thinking, but it comes differently than typing. Do some chat bounce back here. What do you got in chat, man? Let me scroll up about 12. The gold. What the gold is. Okay, we were there. Yellowstone. Oh, no. Yeah, anybody who was going to hoax into Yellowstone had to notify him, hey, listen, we're doing something. Yellowstone had to be told that, no, a real treasure was not pulled from Yellowstone, but we're talking about something leading a TV crew to the edge of the park, and it's going to take place off on the BLM, and we're going to all meet in West Yellowstone, and it's all very convenient, so this is why we're doing it. Somebody knows. The old superintendent got involved in this and then left, resigned, got fired. I'm not sure. Maybe fired. New person comes in. So, like, that's kind of like Fenn dying after he did what he did. Like, this person gets fired after they did what they did, whatever. I don't know. I'm not real worried about. When I'm looking, they have an incredible amount of work to try to prove Yellowstone. Incredible amount. So far, all I see is a bunch of accounts that are paid or just recreated accounts where people agree. They just have fake account agreements, fake accounts agreeing with us, And sometimes I've seen them be more than half of the crowd in a chat room. It's really weird. I've even seen things that look like Russian and Chinese hacks come in 10 and 20 at a time on the screen that are not actually Russian and Chinese. It's people working in this thing bumping up comments that they don't like out of the way. Yeah, I've seen it. It's weird shit. And Sarah retired. That's good. Okay, thank goodness. Because I didn't want to say I think that whatever. But she got involved in this in a weird way. It's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable thing to have the park superintendent get involved and then retire. And it just, but what it is it's more open ends. It doesn't solve anything. They have an incredible amount of work to hoax something. There's reasons TV crews would stay away from this. Any producers or anybody. There are big. It's all going to be independent people and somebody paying with the money Fenn perhaps gave them to bless them on with whatever things they thought. Keep me in the news. Keep a good word up for me. Whatever. Somebody controls the Wikipedia page. It doesn't talk all about the thing. By now, somebody who grifted a treasure hunt community there'd only be bad things. The reason it's not all bad is because these people are hard at work. It's true. It would have been you're evil and we'll forget about you, whatever, by now. But no, people keep it. He's good and we'll remember him. And I that's great. I'm all for it. Rest in peace. Didn't know you. I wish I could have met you. Forrest! No, I'm kidding. Anyway. Nice shot, man. I'm going to be crazy now. I'm a fucking lone shooter. I'm the guy on the road. Roll down your fucking window. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Let me hitchhike. I'm going to hitchhike. I'm going southwest. Listen. So, killer on the road. No, I'm kidding. All right. Look. Fucking channel my Malkovich here, you know. Just wanted the right answers. I will find clues and kill them. Look, Calvary Media, never heard of it. It's never any fucking big company. It's never. That's Ben. I'm sure he's in charge of that. I don't know. Whatever. And he's brilliant because he not only has a running thing going on at all times, but he has relative manipulations over people. He can switch from the dancing pickle to the party guy to the serious person to just listening or just talking. There's like 5 qualities he can hit. That's pretty good. He's got to be, somebody brought him in. I don't know. I think I know who brings people in. When he first came in, he was on my ass on Thor, and one of the reasons I got banned for the 5th, 6th, 7th time, and then I just left. I had to not lend my support because I thought that Thor, if you want to know the reason, I'm just saying my opinion, that I thought it was using its website in diagnostics to, I had clues from the owner that they're looking at addresses and names and reading through a lot of stuff. And though they will not tell you they pay attention to you, they'll never show you they do, but they do. They do. They keep track. And they'll use your ideas or whatever. And, I'm not saying in any hijacked treasure or anything like that. If they hijacked the treasure, that would be by besmooching Fenn's ass and, nuzzling up and I'm a good kitty and whatever. It's like, you trust me. I trust you. All the things people do until Henry Rollins says, "Ha ha ha! Sucker! I got you again! Yep, I'm a liar! I'm a liar!" Henry Rollins song Liar. There's 3 little verses in that song where the liar gets you 3 times. It's so fucking brilliant. The face paint, it's like crazy shit, right? And I'm always thinking music. I'm thinking not just music, but the weird shit, the weird side. I know the weird side. I was in bands with a singer sang in a gas mask. We were doing nitrous. It was like fucking fog. It was the 90s. It was like smoke, lasers, really weird ideas, songs about sex fetishes and like songs about demons and like songs about skull fuckers and, you know, not just metal, but industrial on top of it, you know, crazy shit, right? You know, every other guy was into like the serial killer songs and all this shit, you know. We were out looking for genuine things, psychos and people with stories. And, I was looking for somebody with Tourette's to sing for the longest time. I wanted some kind of just ultra creativity. I was willing to give up the mic if somebody could freak me the fuck out. You got the job, you know. Yeah, Slipknot. Yeah, it all comes out of the 90s. And you know, I worked with people who we do believe that some of the major Nine Inch Nails, and they're very cool groups, but Manson especially borrowed a big chunk of the entire ideology, look, sound, types of equipment, you know, where the songs kind of sounded the same and even better than the bands I knew that were creating this shit. And yeah. For some reason, I was doing prog rock in the 90s. I wanted to be in a jazz band. Me and a couple people were wanting to, like, let's go all the way to jazz, dude. And we did. We learned every fucking scale, every fucking time signature. And we were getting asked into industrial bands that were rich and touring and rock, alternative rock too. And I have friends on MTV. I didn't quite go there. I stayed really weird. Like my career, when I'm an old man, they're going to say, what weird, obscure shit, man. And then I'm going to make $1 million, whatever. I've seen people who didn't really, like, I knew them back then. They didn't fucking matter. Damn, wow, look at them now. And they're touring, and just the tours, like buying a house each time, whatever. But so I'll matter later on in music. I'm pretty sure I did crazy shit. Crazy, fucked up, cool stuff. Not fucked up, but cool. I'll make it there somewhere. How, I don't know. Even as an old man, whatever. I'm getting old. I'm getting older, whatever. But no, I'm telling you, man. Everybody's fucking weird. Everybody is weird. I don't care how anybody acts. They act normal. Fuck them, man. Put a middle finger up their nose. Everybody's fucking weird. Turn the lights off. Seriously. Industrial band touring, shit. Everybody's weirder than me. I mean, I'm, you know, fucking weirder than me. I'm like, holy fuck, you're fucked up, man. God damn. I'm like Tone Loc. Fuck, man, that's some fucked up shit. Damn, you're really a fucking G. Holy fuck, dude. All right, but anyway, this is like oh wow. And my ghetto ass in the Rocky Mountains, right? No, I'm not a ghetto ass. I'm no slouch in the woods. I had the woods down pat. I had to live in the fucking woods as a bum. Shit. You know? Glad my teeth didn't fall out. You know, it's just whatever. Fucking live in a van. Then finally settle in. Figure things out. But let me see. That's the thing, like, who got fired from Yellowstone. If she if we could pay her enough. But I think there's too much money. I think there should be other ways. I don't know. You know, they only know what they're told, and they only know a very narrow margin of. Somebody is still delegating power. Somebody still knows how to regulate all the information and people and juggle things around so that the people do one little job and don't know the rest. And I think there's very, very few people. There are 6 or less people who know who to avoid, who's the bad, who's the evil, the baddie, who what they're working against. Like, they don't know. They know general things about, hey, shut this down, or this talk, or these people, or whatever, and the banning and whatever. But I think that it's this very scattered, intricate thing. And like I've told people, the cipher or whatever, I think goes around some things, because if someone was to show they were the solver and that it was obvious that they were the one that this conspiracy tried to go around, then that's one way of doing it. And somebody has to do that. It'll be me, because I believe that it might be the right decryption, and that I believe maybe I have a good forensic mind. And I know character and faces and what people are really saying. Like, you'd be surprised. Like, maybe not. I don't know. Find out. But there's a path of answers. Somebody's going to be right. If there's a solver, there's going to be somebody that was right about everything the whole time, right? So we already know the people that lie and hoax are not solvers. Are always changing every single plan that always comes up. Peanuts. They go to the next thing, you know. If there's some sort of solver, they're probably going to be kind of obvious, but and it's up to you to see whether they were being thwarted. They were covered in thwarts. Good old solver. Is solver a frog or a toad? No, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I'm getting wacky. But anyway, might get fun now. Who knows? So, is this... I don't know. Give me an idea here. We got... It's the only thing that stops the itch. Oh, boy. Yep. I like to act like the guy on the bus or something. I don't know. Just the crazy guy on the bus, man. Just talking. Ride a bus with like a bag on your head with eye holes and cut jokes, and then nobody gets that you're the unknown comic riding the bus, you know? Just fuck with people a little bit. Get pickup trucks with like flags that just say fuck everybody on them. Fuck all presidents, fuck all y'all. Have like 3 flags. Have everybody's symbol and put a slash through it. Just run around like an like a hater NASCAR, you know? Just saying fuck the government or whatever. Or say weasels are good, you know, whatever. Whatever. Oil provides 8% of nutrition, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I'm an old anarchist. Kind of something like that. Kind of one of them people that, if I wasn't some like self-acclaimed solver, I'd still be looking at this like, hey, there's rich and people and academics bothering a bunch of, I wouldn't call you unfortunate or poor or dumb people, actually. I don't know what to call it. Maybe I'm not even underprivileged. I don't know where everybody is. I know a lot of people are worse off than their internet net persona may show. It could be. Some people are better off. I don't know. But I do know that we are undeserving of this stuff. Should have just probably had answers by now, something suitable. There will never be an answer from an official source. Even the writers that were left to that task are backing off and kind of worried. They say ridiculous things and get sued sometimes, even the writer. That guy is hooked up too, man. That guy is hooked up. Jack's friend, the writer in the Northeast, the Italian name guy, he's hooked up. Authors Guild. And the other writer is world famous. But I like how the one writer says, I've taken my time off from the New York whatever. They wouldn't let me do a story like this treasure hunt, so I'm just going to write this story. And, there's taking liberty, but, some's true and all that. Well, you know what? You just said a lot there, and you did not say, I'm going to provide the most factual-based thing I can find. So that rules out anything. I'm not ever buying a book like that. I'm not going to devour every bit of page of everything that comes out. I do look at a lot of things. You'd be surprised. I do glance over many things without talking. I try not to talk much, man, about it. It's type. I don't do these videos, but on average every 6 months or more. Cameron Shawley, the superintendent, the new one for Yellowstone, you might respond back since the court case is over. It'd be good to know what he would say. I don't know. Jack cannot exist. I told Copper, Dan, straight out, that I am here to tell you, despite your meeting Jack in an airport, he does not exist in the capacity that he is attributed to. Jack lives to do the things he's attributed to, or whatever, however much an invisible man can live. And we're allowed to talk about Jack because he doesn't exist. Do you remember, I made threats on Jack because he didn't exist, and nothing happened. You remember that? Hold on, I'll be right back. They don't only gauge your threats, they gauge the ability to carry out the threat. They also gauge whether the person is real. If the person's not real, then you're just saying you're going to do something to Mickey Mouse or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. Whatever. And there's no reason to threaten anything except an invisible guy. Just say, I could threaten Jack because he's not real. It's just simple. You know who is real, though, and who you can't threaten are people doing power grabs. People that want to be right. You can't threaten them. Boy, tell you what. I think too many people got into court with each other over this. That is a big fucking mistake. My God. I am so sorry. Granted, knowing who I think it's a big mistake to start fighting each other in court over this. I just wish that could stop. Please don't hurt each other in court. Not chasers, man. Start suing the liars. Come on. Don't sue for slander and do all this YouTube shit. Start doing the fucking. But they have no. They're on the envelope, man. They're doing. listen, I don't want to get political. I hate to say they're doing what Trump did. I mean, listen, Trump is a fucking trip. What a fucking comedian. Seriously. There was so much content based on that fucking jive ass turkey, dude, that it was ridiculous. It was just ridiculous to watch. What a wild couple of years. But you know what? Everybody started doing what Trump did on the internet. Everybody, I'm right. Everybody's wrong. And I'm going to double down. And I might lie or I might fight liars or whatever. That's what everybody started doing. My opinion or whatever. I'm right. It's just the internet. We'll never meet and fight. You know, there's a lot of different things about the internet that you can get away with. And us slightly older dogs, we don't tend to go there because we know we might meet somebody one day. You know, there's a little more to it. You got to keep it a little more real. Listen, but everybody started doing the Trump thing with the chase. Did you ever notice that the Fox News image and the Trumpism tactics sort of, and internet tactics sort of, and Russian tactics sort of went into the chase too? I mean, I would talk about Biden's bullshit too if I knew what it was, right? If I knew what Biden was out doing on the internet with Russia or China or something to us, to Americans, or fucking up American buildings or whatever, I would talk about it. But anyway, what a comical time that was. But the chase is funny too because there's people that want to be right and they're spending a lot of money on it. That fucking box with the solve is worth $10 million if you have the solve. It's $10 million. A Saudi would buy it, a billionaire. You know who's got some billionaires? China, Hong Kong, Beijing. They would buy that thing just to go like, yeah, it's that American treasure hunt. I solved it. Are you sure? I heard somebody else solved it. Well, I have it right here. Where's your box? I got the box. Yeah. They'll buy it. They'll buy it for $10 million. Put that box back. Let me tell you, Hoaxers, something. Put the box back together. Get all the jewels. Go buy the shit back and put it all back together and work with the solver. Man, I'm telling you, man, every good dream will come true. Like every good thing will happen if you can put it all back together and you can back out. This, I'm not saying solver isn't going to browbeat your ass for what you did, but I'm telling you, in the long run, it's a lot better off. I feel like I should have a ski mask on. Listen, it'll go a lot better if you just walk with us. No, I'm kidding. Anonymous. We are Legion. The solve terrorist. So, you know, anyway. Damn, we're up late. I know I'm mountain time here. Guys are hanging, man. You fucking hang. These motherfuckers can hang, man. Look at them. They're fucking 11 strong, 2 thumbs up. They can hang. We're going to hang and talk. And I might have to take a leak or get a drink or replenish the cycle of food, but still. Let me read your comments here. Yep, Jack's the writer, but everybody talks for him. Everybody knows what he's doing. What kind of shit did Jack take today? Pass him the mic. Did you catch the brand of chips he was crunching on? And the wine he drank. Are we going to do a wine tasting for Jack's wine? You know. Yeah. Yes, Dan writes for New York Magazine and The Athletic. And then there's the outdoor people, and then there's the book writers, and then there's Matt. I don't want to say names. I don't know much about Matt and Justin and Cynthia, but that seems to be one cell. And Amy or whoever, they seem to all be doing something at some point a while back. They went quiet. You got to remember, if people are quiet and other people are loud that know them, there might be something to that. There might be people willing to talk, people not willing to talk. The ones not willing to talk might have the pockets, or whatever. I don't know what they do or what they're doing. Um, and if I'm guessing what they're doing, I'm not going to say names at that time or imply who's doing what, because we all know already. The thing about revolutions, the thing about movements that happen within a structure or a system like ChaseGov is that eventually everybody is in lockstep. Everybody knows what's going on. They're well beyond something being wrong. They all know what's wrong. They know who they don't trust. They get an idea. They start speaking a language that they can't be sued for or anything or targeted. They start knowing altogether what's going on and start their minds rewire and start finding ways. And the way is always found. Any bank vault can be broken, any prison escaped from. Doesn't matter. There's always a way. It's either through technology or people or ingenuity. There's always a way to climb in or out. And I wanted to be a high-end cat burglar or art thief or something, but then I didn't want anybody's own shit. Maybe a bank. I wanted to be able to get into banks at one time. Boy, it's impossible now. There's no way. They have a chip in you already. You were in the bank, whatever. I don't know. Your phone, you'll have your phone. I can use my phone. I'll bring my phone. Yeah, right. No. There's some phone savvy people, computer and YouTube savvy, and whoever's just there talking can do a lot. Everybody thinks there's a little bit of truth in what everybody's saying in this. There's something or whatever. Do they know something or whatever? Yeah. I only know what I think is good. I think what I know is good. And I'm not going to say all of it. And that's only because, and it's not withheld special Fenn product or anything, or slow release gases over time. It's pretty direct what I'm doing. And what was Matt doing at FF's house, though? It's a good question. We can't really know the exact answer to that unless somebody just cracks or breaks or whatever they say it. Ben started asking him what was on his screen. Hey, what's that folder say? They saw it on his share. And he said, Fenn, FF writing or whatever. And then he says, yeah, I'm a writer. Right? Matt works for Rolling Stone? Are you kidding me? Huh. Interesting. Writers. What do writers do? They write the history. We'll just write the history and it'll be what people read, and everybody reads the same thing and they're in lockstep. Oh yeah, people use phones. I'll never forget the time I was working at a convenience store and I would see this 10-speed rider and I'm like, what a tight rider. Looks like he's dressed for black and He has no lights or reflectors. He's riding at night. He's out at night. And then I saw him at our gas pump. I'm like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? I threw something upside his head, like it hit him like 20 feet away. And he was disoriented and riding away because he had just skimped the card reader at the pump. And I'm like, no, he's a hacker type of thief. Yeah, and that's wow. And he was ready to fight, and I almost grabbed him, and we both slipped on a fucking gas stain or something in the lane. It was a crazy little scuffle, and I hit him as he rode off. I didn't want to kill the guy or nothing, not over money. I never know why people want to steal and kill to steal or kill people stealing or any of it. I never know why. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Um, there's so many other things that you can do. You can get that person in your grasp and you can fucking chew them out. You just tell them. You chew them out, man. Break a rib, maybe. Boom, fucking 3-4 weeks. Feel my pain. Whatever, but it doesn't have to be like a fucking death or anything. I don't know. Yeah, a movie about a bank heist. I found myself about 10 years ago, I realized nobody gets away with anything anymore. And I'm like, man, I'm kind of pissed, man. That guy fucking sprayed them cops that did him wrong. He worked with them and then he fucking went off or something. And then he got burned out in a cabin days later. And like, nobody gets away with anything. Even Grizzly Adams, it doesn't matter. They go out there. I'm going to bring my phone, right? I'm going to call my mom. Motherfucker, you better figure out how to be Rambo or something. And that ain't going to work. These forests are, they know what's what. They know. There's ways they know shit. They know if you're hiding who you are, whatever. Christ's sakes, fucking Bin Laden 12 years ago didn't hide anymore. What, 8 years ago? Not even in Pakistan, not in a city, not in the woods, whatever. But some of them, not him, but regular outlaws sometimes want them to get away with things. But I don't like academic outlaws. I don't like white-collar criminals. I don't like bankers that steal. Anybody who already has a lot and just has a method and a system and they keep going, I don't know, you should have quit. You should quit. You got enough. These people found a niche to steal dreams in this fucking hunt. And writers make up stories. They'll go with narratives. They'll come up with writers can do a lot. History is written by the victors, right? History is written by the victors. How successful is a history written by non-victors? People write history as if they've won, as if they're right. How well does that usually go? It doesn't. I mean, I wonder if they can. Now, I have to take a leak. I'll talk if I have an idea here. I got to take a leak. What if they hoax this by saying, you can't say where that place was? You know where that place is, right? Like okay, it was Cynthia posted a video that was audio of Dale talking to Forrest, and it showed some other video playing while that audio was going. But anyway, telling Dale, I want to know if someone's close, and I want to know if that person, if he emailed, would that mean that Dale knew who? It didn't seem like it was put that way that Dale knew. It seemed like Forrest was just conveying that he would want to know if someone is close, and he'd want to know if that person wrote. So he'd have to see messages. He has to hear everything. He has to hear he's just got to have his feelers out. What do y'all got? Y'all are gathering stuff on people or somebody. So I have to know if they're close. But why? Why know if they're close? Why? Why would you need to know they're close? Oh shit, guys, the treasure's not really there. And somebody's getting close because I actually put a decipherable location in it. All right, I'm going to go with irritating munchies wrappers. So just bear with me. Get some candy. Ew. Okay, no, don't eat that one. Briggs is a good person to bring up. The professor from the UK, Briggs, who had another cipher, these sentences that he deciphered from the poem about walking, running, jumping, whatever, through whatever. I never did catch how he arrived at this from the poem. He didn't provide any setup clues to how he arrived at these sentences that came from the poem. I was very interested in that. I'm like, wow, somebody has more sentences. It's great. But still, a very non-specific message. It didn't answer the questions of what the blaze was. It didn't answer what wise was or anything. And then he just disappears. Shot his wad on a trip to the U.S. Fenn pats him on the back very publicly. Well, you're ingenious, whatever, because it's not the solve. But neither here nor there. I can't truly say whether it's the solve or not. It just didn't have hundreds of things around it that said, I'm the solve. Fenn cares about his name. Yeah, he told us right out, frankly, I want the future to think good thoughts about me or whatever. I want him to find my treasure, read my story, pass on my isms to people, smile at a whatever. I mean, if that's all this was a narcissistic experiment, not just pissed off about it. We're going to literally chew this up and spit it out. Like, it's going to be ugly. If there are living people taking us for a ride, hitched on, coattail riders of Fenn, going into overdrive, it's going to be Boy, hell for that one. Don't do that. Hoaxers, man, just give up now. Just give up, please. Because I tell you, all he cares about is name me. I don't know. I fart to that. I don't know, man. I'm not real into keeping a good name or worrying about shit like that. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Steve. Yeah, it's late over there. East time. Yep. You have a good one, man. Yeah, I might sign off soon. I don't know. Just depends. I'll get a couple thoughts here. 2 hours, yep. But I'm still thinking along. So Fenn only cared about his name? Well, that's what I'm saying. He had said he wanted to offer something to the future, and I don't know, it was solved too fast. Another reason somebody would go into overdrive and freak out if something's solved within 6 or 10 years is because they didn't put a treasure there. Oh fuck, they're gonna find a empty spot that probably has a very minor marking, like when you're looking straight down at it. Levi, be more specific. What do you mean? Maloney pony. Oh, well, then like the old yeah, they didn't release a posthumous biography or final words or anything, or any final stuff from Fenn talking. I thought by now we would have seen some video going whatever was right, something was wrong, whatever. I think somebody has that video. The thing you can know if you see something posthumously released from Fenn, you'll know two things. It was edited. Those other people are hanging on to certain information so they can use it. And maybe a third thing, that nobody will believe it, like, at all. Anyway, now. And people are not likely to believe much of anything in this. But they play along to be friends. People play along to be at the party. But I like when the hoaxers do the don't be a party pooper or negative or whatever. I'm not going to listen. You're not going to pop my bubble. That's cool. Are you saying he was Fenn was secretly gay or what? I mean, just say it. You're allowed to say somebody was gay or something. I don't know. It's not a bad thing. If Fenn was gay, that's not a bad thing. I mean, like I said, by the time Hollywood's done with him, I don't know. It's going to look like the Ben Stiller in Vietnam movie or something. It's going to be just Hollywood's really. It's going to make me laugh. I won't vomit so much as laugh my ass off if they actually contrive something. What am I missing, Levi? Please be specific. If I ask you to be specific, you're just going to cut a joke. No, you're pretty funny, man. I would definitely have you on here if I had a way to have Zoom or something, because we were talking about some wild shit. And hang on, I'm going to take a leaf break. Oh, yeah. Some thinking fog. Make it fire differently here. You know, if Orson Welles were here, they'd rise up from hell to vanquish the souls of the unavenged. One of the last narrations he did was in a Man-O-War song. Orson Welles. He had met, Orson Welles met Hitler and Churchill. That's pretty amazing shit. That's wild. That freaked me out. Did Fenn and Stoof ask for the Zoom with Sarah or vice versa? Was that Zoom in 2019? Am I correct on that? Sarah's more recent. But then again, I don't know. They have everything but a solution. They have everything but a box on the table. The box is just in limbo. Like nobody can spend it. Or they're just fencing it off black market style or something. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? Like, I know for sure I ain't getting any money, like any gold or anything. Like, I knew in 2019 nobody was going to get gold. I don't remember how. I remember I figured it out. Like, oh, they're not going to get gold. And I had a feeling when I broke the cipher with gold being in the elements, I had a feeling that that's the gold you're going to get. And the title is the poem. You get to title the poem. because when you crack the poem, other words come out, and that could, gasoline could be the title or something. I don't know. You get to own a revised version of the poem or something. It's kind of weird. Intellectual property can go far. I'm mighty curious if I were to release the rest of it, and I'm really, honestly, what I believe. My bias is this: if I were an observer, casually, with no solve, no skin in the game, and I'm looking at this, rest assured, the only thing I would remember as important is a cipher. I would say some treasure hunt has a cipher. Okay, it makes sense. And, I'd shrug it off or whatever. It wouldn't take much more, whatever. If I were the public, I would think, well, his onus was on his poem. He said that was the place to be. Something came out of the poem. Nothing else like that came from the poem. So I will put that there on the shelf. That is that title or whatever. That could be whatever. Did anybody get any gold? Oh, no. You mean a guy didn't give his obvious gold in an obvious way and an obvious satisfactory? Let's say there are people who are going to handle this very badly. If the truth were known and it were clearly the truth, there's still people who are gonna talk about their solve, whatever. I know that. I would. um, yeah, you got to use a bong, man, anymore because of pollen. There's a lot of pollen and other things. You can filter out weed quite well with water. um, I would say low amounts of any kind of smoke. You know, even forest fires have been bad. You can't be huffing like smoke constantly, man. It's just reserved for these moments. Uh, Churchill, Roosevelt, and Hitler. Yeah, they did do that. Didn't they even have Stalin there? No, that was, I don't remember. No, it was those three. Yeah, presidents come up in this thing. Presidents. Um, all the presidents except the money. Gold coins, Photoshop. What a what a fun little mystery. We have to get to the bottom of it. Um, but the main point I'd reiterate is that the hoaxers didn't realize there wasn't gold to be had. But let's say somebody else knows that there's no gold and there's no other finder, unless the finder has to stay hidden because the real solve is copyrighted or whatever. There's a possibility. Or they're really talking about, when they say Jack, they're saying this other person. There are some similarities, things, definitely. Let's just say they're using a vernacular, but then their thing seems to push a little too hard. And into saying they're right. And, a big collective of people that all agree in one thing in the chase, they all agree on 9 Mile Hole. I mean, they're like, 13 ringleaders or something and like 6 sheep that believe them, It's like this 20-person strong thing where there's just this consensus, like we better have a consensus or we'll be wrong and the other people will be right or something. Or we've already had too many battles, we can't back out now. And that's a good thing to see people do if you're doing strategy, if they can't let it go. Digital skin. I don't know. Digital Skin could be a industrial band. Fenn knows. You've had dreams that Fenn knows where the Nazi gold is. Private mission named Denver. Oh yeah, the Denver airport Illuminati tunnels and symbols and the tunnel entrance. Um, that might be saying he was capable of more than he did or whatever, but he did definitely get hooked up. It was wondered if he was a billionaire. Um, if people have illegal dealings or it's said that they were raided or whatever, they could have had other vaults, other things. Not with a solve or poem or anything. Not with you're gonna not find it. You know. Um, 9 Mile Haters. Yeah. Yep. Denver. Colorado, for the place. I mean, color. You know. Yeah, there's. Yeah. Yeah, we could brainstorm a little bit. I think I need another one of those. Hang on a second. Not quite up to brainstorming technique. Yes. Holy fuck. The Ripper? The Ripper! Holy shit. Now I'm gonna be fucking crazy. Alright, you fuckers. Alright, maniacs. What do we got? I thought to do all comedy rendition of this, like parody, because you can get you have full license with parody. You can talk about everybody. Like you can one style parody, you can use their first names if you want, because you're just roasting. But another style parody, you have to make up names if you want a longer movie or story or private things in it. Yeah, you have to make up names. It could be comedy, be depicted as. I mean, Hollywood's going to depict us as if they ever do this. They're probably watching, keeping an outer lens, like to a multiple year plan before they finalize something. Somebody's gonna have to do something that looks final before TV does anything. What all these factions that are fighting each other don't realize in the chase is that if one of them doesn't do something that finalizes something, it won't cause other things to happen. If they all stay neutral, it doesn't tend to take a direction. And we kind of know what the the right direction is. and it's to not believe a lie. Um, but why is the truth embarrassing? Like, what are they worried about? Why is it embarrassing? What is it? What happened? I mean, there's something we don't know about. Like, there's a fucking thing that here we are still. This is that's true. The thrill of the chase, as a title, means there's no quarry, there's no kill, there's no catch, there's no thing you got, there's no thing anybody caught. It's always chasing something, right? So maybe the whole plan is to never be able to finalize anything, any plan, you know. So a wider amount of people inside some scheme might know that don't let anybody win. Like, they don't say who they're against. They just all get told, don't let any solves do take time because it does this, right? It we're trying to do something. We're gonna put out T-shirts or whatever. We gotta do this thing. We're gonna anyway. I'm no, that's projecting. So the thrill of the chase as a title is like well, the quarry is the hunted thing, and the quarry obtained would be going against the thrill of the chase or something. I don't know. Um, Quarry is a good book title for that. I don't tell my book titles. That's a good one. The Quarry is good that you came up with there. There's other titles depending on how this goes that could be totally mind blowing, sort of. Like, there are ways to do this story in a book that could take the nation, people that never knew about it. There's a way to do this where it is so intricate that it's a 400-page book. Could be more, you know. And I don't mean a solve per se. Um, that would just be a minor framework to a lot of other things in a book, right? In fiction. Um, and I get it. I already know that a solve to writers and producers, and especially any multi-episode show or something, a solve is too much to the point. Like, they wouldn't even think they might want to solve at the end. They might not even want to think about the end of the show or whatever, you know, the series. That's why the solve is always beaten up. The solve is always going to be whatever. It just, a lot of people get frustrated with each other sharing that, and it just goes on and back and forth. And the TV or the book or the series would already know that you just come up. You want dialogue, names, you want types, looks, whatever may be going on in the storyline. They're not thinking like you or I or any of us. They're not thinking. A board meeting of people producing this are going to look at it like um, high impact, uh, great moment, whatever, interesting thing, but also for sure ongoing. You know, the ongoing aspect of this is what makes me think TV's been doing this a while. Writers, whatever. Um, there's they won't define anything. These people won't define anything. They want it all undefined because it's a big party and uh, I don't know. It can be ongoing. You know, what's wrong with you? You're negative. Sure, yeah. Sometimes it's justified. You know? I would say, really, there's no great credit to be given to Fenn until a solver got paid for a solve for something that makes enough sense. It's like, and you've seen it come in, and it looks like okay, and then it makes enough sense that it could go down that way, and it could work because it's real. Like, and real could be both boring and dreaded. So the real thing would be kind of, you'd be bored of it, and some would dread it, some it would be like a whatever, and then there'd be fighting, right? A quarry makes sense, yeah, a cliff type thing. Um, what if the place were dangerous? Like, what if it were a dangerous place? What would you do? How do you assume the control or the reins on the danger in this whole thing if people go there and get hurt? What, so if you're the solver and you say where, uh, how would you do that? No, I'm asking you a straightforward question, an honest question. Like, it probably a lot depends on this. All right. If it's a dangerous place, what do you do? What do you do? What do you say? Because you're in all of this shit going on. You're also noticing that these hoaxers are trying to avoid the dangerous place too. They're trying to lead you kind of to avoid the dangerous place, to not say it. He made a mistake. He made a mistake with the dangerous place. He either did not hide it or he did and took it later or whatever. Um, don't solve or don't say the place. Don't do the dangerous place. We're going to talk about all this shit, but send a message every now and then. You shouldn't say the place. It's like, okay. So what do you think is the way you say the place? Maybe you have to have a disclaimer, like a death clock, death waiver, like the heavy metal band that could kill you if you see them, fictional cartoon band, death clock. They signed a death waiver to come in the gates. No, it's no joke. It probably looks like okay, herbs. So anyway, yeah. How would you tell people where it is, man? What the fuck shitstorm could there be? What could there be? Um, hmm. What if it said something like, "Why not jump?" in the fucking song? It didn't exactly say anything like that, but in my version of this, there is basically a take a flying leap thing at the end of the fucking solve. Uh, there are things in the solve that say it ain't there, but look at you go, or whatever. There are things in it that say good job, but there's no gold. So that's the weird thing. Like, I'm going to get into this again now. There's no gold. He thought it was a big deal due to books and publicity and planning and all these things that, and TV and early news involved, that a solver would get press too. It would come and it would be a big thing. They'd make $1 million anyway, right? And he was right. He was right about it. When it was a smooth thing, smooth running, if the solve would have come and people didn't have 10 years already in it or whatever, it would have been within 6 or whatever, 3 years, whatever. And it seemed to make sense. And it was like, wow, that's different or technical or different from what I was doing or whatever. Mine's whatever. And if the place wasn't dangerous, and I don't just mean in proximity, I mean getting in to the place, parking, whatever, right? All of it. All of it is kind of crazy, right? Hey, everywhere we've been doing this, half the places were fucking crazy. Really, come on. It was really like, what am I doing? Wow. And felt like a heist. Like, this is the place. I'm going to get in and I'm going to fucking heist that fucking thing. I got a black backpack for it too. Whatever. I'm ready for it. I will leave my shit there if it's too heavy and just carry it. I'll ride away. I won't go to the news. No, I would be like, here it is, whatever, take it all. That's what y'all do, right? Just take it. Go ahead. It's fine. Just be solver that had it abducted. No, we all thought these things. We all had these strategies. We all thought things, and it was fun a while. And now it's something else. I don't know. It was a good thought. It was a fun thing. And when it wasn't Fenn anymore, it wasn't fun. I guess. That's very possible, Silver Fox, that it was just a ruse and it's just clean up. Simpler answers usually work for me. I see no reason that anybody would be able to block me from, or anyone from, a correct solve and putting it out there. I mean, we'd all be looking at the whole thing over the span of some time period, going, this looks like a solve, this looks like these people are reacting or doing something against it or whatever. We'd all kind of know. It's not like they have a great way of killing off a full solve that's released on some level, unless it leads to a dangerous spot. And it could cause people to dig in a place they shouldn't and all kinds of shit. And I know that sounds weird coming from me, that I'd be apprehensive to not go with like freedom, man, freedom of information and all. Yeah. But I do know people will check the place if I ever release that. I don't mean like a dozen people or anything, but a few would. And I don't know. Don't take any selfies there. Ever. Um, Yellowstone's dangerous too. Yep. Um, if it was just a ruse for the to get people out there, now the family is doing cleanup, then they wouldn't interfere with any kind of solution that somebody posts if it makes sense. Although there could be somebody fighting the release of the exact location. That I do think could happen. There could be something there like that. Yeah, Yellowstone is dangerous for sure. But this is not where I'm talking about. That is not the place. Um, it's the chase we sought and not the quarry. He did say that. That's right. Quarry, dinosaur graveyard. Yep. The old DSR. Left, middle, and right version of the solve. Yes, that's true. Both in justifications of shifting everything left to right, but also left or right brained, or any number of things. It is intentionally ambiguous, the poem. I do believe that. It is probably um, yeah, yeah. Even towards the end, it's ambiguous. It can end up doing a lot all over the place, even near the end. Um, Forget about the beginning. I mean, there's billions of computations and possibilities near the beginning, but even in the last, I don't know if I'd call it 3 out of 9 clues because I found up to 120 clues and hints in the volume of his work and speeches and whatever, but mainly poem, book, media. Because anything he edited later, he was affecting your test taking procedure. He was hanging over you, changing your mind. People were getting close. He was getting squirrely. You know, got to remember how things kind of work organically. Don't forget in the graphic study of everything to how organic things work. Um, it works in with the subtlety and simplicity of things as well, but there are complex things as well. We got to remember if it wasn't exactly figured out yet and easily explained, then it wasn't simple. It wasn't a simple thing. If he ever said it was simple, it's because, well, simple substitution is literally the type of cipher used. You can Google that. But straightforward, I don't know. Straightforward is kind of the joke, is part of the joke to fucking walk into the dangerous part. Like, go fuck yourselves. There's not something there or whatever. That's kind of like there are stabs at a solver, I think, if you're getting too close. They're built in. They just decode. It just says, not fuck you, but like there are things in there that kind of say shit. But it pulls where you focus. Yeah, it definitely can pull you, but you gotta. It takes a very, I don't know, nerves of steel to take the poem and try to not want to see anything. Try to not see it while you're doing. Let's say, okay, look at it this way: you do a set of steps by rote, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Whatever you're doing, right? Steps through the poem, and you're just crypt analyzing it, right? You're going through the steps. You just start with what do you do? You start here, upper left, A1, whatever. You look for just obvious things like that, and then you run it through processes that can generate other blocks off of it. Keep track of all that, file it, try to do it right. Go through the steps and not see anything, not try to, don't think about anywhere. Don't think about places or anything. Just look at the letters first and get the things like the four corners of the poem. Starts what at the lower left corner and goes counterclockwise. IDEA, idea. It's pretty cool. So four corners spells idea. So that's one of the main things the Hoaxers left out. And Fenn, when he said, I guess we'll say it's Wyoming or whatever, is it? That's either the first or second clue says, and I don't mean one clue, I mean a clue that can have a physical, a virtual, numerographic, and cryptographic meaning all in one. 4 different things, right? And so to say the first clue, you got to remember a clue is the answer to its questions, the single answer to questions. But then a funnel shape can form below that graphic of a clue funneling down to one thing, then a zero baseline with a upside down funnel under that saying the answer can be multiple because there are physical, virtual, graphic, and cryptonumeric 4 answers all to one each clue, right? Then there are leaps into other things like another volume, text, a picture in the book, the elements, whatever. It's all these cords and cables are starting to fly everywhere. There's way too much going on, right? There's 120 things, right? There are 450 pages to release, okay, on explaining 120 things. So you're looking at, and then it leads to a shitty place. Like it fucking beautiful, whatever, great, whatever, but based on what people have done in dangerous places, you can't just send the cavalry there. And anyway, this whole thing, yeah. So the whole process, man, the graphs, the thinking, the whatever. This guy had major in the Air Force, flew jets, not just planes and, you know, faster and bombing with jets, right? Whatever. Won't get into that. That's just whatever. So had a mind for it. I don't have to really go into the reasons why he would be able to design something that I'm talking about. There's no reason to convince people. But anyway, so I'm looking at this in a certain way to where these other people are trying to keep folks away or steer me a little bit, maybe steer me. Never, ever approaching me one-to-one or anything, no messages, nothing. There's never any, they will not talk to me. So there's no deal, nothing. There'll never be a deal for me. I already know that. I know that for sure. So forget it, right? I have to do this myself. Um, but I do think the four corners idea in the poem, the four outer letters in the four corners of the poem, spelling idea counterclockwise from the lower left, is the clue for four corners state. Sorry, but I do. And that's why he spoke of Utah, even though he didn't have to, and he spoke of Arizona, even though he didn't have to. We know New Mexico and Colorado are already in it. Four corners state. First clue, regional graphic. Regional clue. The physical part of the first or second clue is four corners. It is the regional graphic, physical place clue. My opinion, and that's pretty strong, because it lends to a lot more after it that narrows that way. That is why it's good to look at it as if it is a four corner state because of what comes later. Okay. All right. So, all right. I didn't think I was going to get into any technical shit. I thought I was just going to be a protester tonight. Anyway, let's see here. Triangulation. Idea is a hint of a quadrant. Well, yes, to form the box. Well, that's the virtual part of the idea clue. So the physical part of the idea clue is the four corners. The virtual part is the boxes you form in the poem. That could also be graphic, but I'll call it virtual because you're looking at the poem as if it has borders and boxes and letters, groups, and things you're going to look at later. So isn't that weird that we're talking about clue 2, subset B, right? Let's just call like idea in the poem is clue 2, subset B. Because the first clue would have to be the A and A down from the first letter of the poem and the 1 and 1 to the right of the A's, to the right of that first A. A1 seems to me is the number one clue. A1 in the poem is the number one clue. Part 1, part is subset A. 2 would be idea, spelling across the four corners, forming the box. Okay, we're looking for a box. We're looking for a box. Maybe that's the box you get in the poem. You get that box. There it is. Then there's another box. So in the first stanza, it boxes around the first stanza where the gasoline and Mensa take place, and those tell you things. But I don't know. I would call it a first clue. But you got to remember, you want to know what else is a first clue? You want to know what else that exists is what I call, there could even be a fifth layer, a fifth leaf to each clue. The fifth one being what it does in the elements, right? So the elements, the subset 5 of clue 2 is the hydrogen. It's hydrogen itself, the first letter of the cipher, the H. And because hydrogen's column 1, row 1, element 1, subset A, subset double A. If you look at the elements, you'll see all these things happening. Those other letters and numbers, Roman numerals and all that, is the column, the number, the element number. And I don't even mean the atomic weight. That's different. But I mean the classification and grouping. You have each set. There's different colors in the element scheme because they do different things. Some are conductive, non-conductive, alkaloid, whatever. Malleable, metallic, or whatever. Inert gas. And That's not important to know so much as just using the numbers. He gives you numbers in the poem. You just go, huh, and they're right there. And it's like, that's it. I don't have to know chemistry or anything. There it is. A1, AA11. Hydrogen says it right there with these other letters and numbers. So that's the other thing. And then his chest also, we could go into like subset F, part 6 of number 2 or whatever, and say um, the chest itself has a big H on it, right? There's a big H there. Um, the chest, the two spires on the chest look like 6 blocks going down, 6 big blocks, one on top of the other, just like the chart does. The two sides that top with H are like the spires, they're like towers or the mountains and the elements. There's a whole graphic there. We might even be into like clue number 2, part 7 right now, which is the chest. 6 and 7 would be, or um, F and G of part of clue 2 would be the chest stuff. And then part 8 of the second clue would be like CES or CE5 on the table of elements. It doesn't even matter which one you use because cesium below the string of elements in the thing is CE. It could be cease. It could be the little letters and numbers on the chest latch. It can be number 55 in the elements, which is what that is, number 55. CE5. Whatever, he does weird shit. So there's all these things. I'm just saying the clues have, I haven't counted exactly. Like number 1 has a set of 3 or 4. Number 2 could have up to 8. The third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I don't know. They could all be 1 being the cipher itself. Then there could be the other parts. And it's really weird how it just goes through that. And it probably only gives you the gold and the elements. And it was just meant to get people outside. Anyway, who knows, man? Read your stuff. What are you saying here? Valley of the Rockies. See, I'm seeing a mouse out of the corner of my eye. I hate that. Like, oh shit, I left the door open too long. Okay. X on a map. Oh yeah, the X. That's right side of the poem, definitely has some things. I like how the map said in the yellow highlighted area or whatever. And then that book hint for cipher in the picture had the Scotch tape residue around pictures, or it had like bleaching or something. And the cipher was running in the yellow part of that kind of aged bleaching part of the photo layout. That's pretty strong. For a hint, that's like after I'd already done all this shit, and for that to come as a hint to me is like, damn, wow, that's holy shit. It says like sodium 2 different ways. That's the N in the cipher. It's weird. The book. Then that other thing, God, he fucks with the cipher so much in the book. You could form it in the book. I don't know what he's talking about. I have no idea what he meant that you can only do it. You can't just do it with the book, or whatever. I don't know what he meant by that, but that's not, that doesn't seem to work with a lot of what people have found. So, yeah. No, but I don't see Powell on the map. That's, I think, left out because of the Powell book, Canyons of Colorado. Yeah, I'd be interested to know what collected work still has in this or what they did. I'd be interested to I'd really want to know. I'd want to hear from the graphic designers in this. Whoever did I mean, it's very possible Forrest did his own graphic design and outputted to PDF and sent it to people, said, I'll come in and do this. And then he sits with them and they do that. I've done that with actual album covers before, hours at a time in a plant, making sure that I mean, even back in when we were not using computers, doing poster board graphic, and that's, Fenn knows about this stuff. Why wouldn't he? I mean, I try to tell people all the time, why do you think old folks are innocent and ignorant? They might not be. In a lot of cases, they were very complicated individuals. Doesn't matter if it was the 1920s or earlier, whenever. I have a family member that was a suffragette artist. We're talking doing rioting 110 years ago or something, 105 years ago. A woman, my family, artist. I mean, like Bjork today or something, like just a weird singing, highly artistic chick or something, 110 years ago. These people, these old folks, are not innocent or stupid. They did very complicated things. Practically everybody has extremely complicated process, even walking and taking steps. There's a whole entire thing. I can see how complicated Forrest is and how, I don't want to say controlling, but he definitely oversaw every step and every process. There was no question about it, and he knew how. What are people saying here? Important literature of the Borders poem. Yeah. All right, Lee. All right, Vi. We'll see you. Take care, buddy. Let's see here. I didn't get his Catcher in the Rye thing. I should read it again. It's been years since a good few of these books he's mentioned. Yeah, the declination lines. Yep. Yeah, I used to read encyclopedias, mainly to look at the gemstones and the color pictures, and like they'd have like museum pieces or pictures of things and gold. I would look at the gold picture, like gold coin, gold nugget, scale, or the gemstones, or like or space, any space pictures, any damn thing that like Voyager saw, or whatever. Um, Whatever you could get your hands on as far as interesting stuff. Mars, what's Mars doing? Whatever. Um, what is Mars doing? Mars had a blue or a green lightning storm all over it a few years ago, or some kind of north and south lights, northern and southern lights going off when a comet passed it. It caused some sort of electrostatic, never before observed thing. Thought that was kind of neat. Collective Works crashed, and he went to the borders twice, probably somewhere north of Metitsi, or at least below. Yep, I went through there. I tell you, there was some neat rocks out there. There was a lot of. I went looking for jade, even Sweetwater County, Wyoming, all around, and a lot of BLM land. You could just pick up rocks if you wanted and shit. And found some dendritic agate, which is a fairly clear grayish, light gray, pale green, a little stone. You can see through it. You can hold it to the sun. I mean, you don't see like glass transparent, but you see light, translucent, and very nice, and little leaf shaped dendrites, like little, the way the crystal volcanism or something cools differently of one mineral inclusion, all these different things in it. Pretty cool. Yeah, Wyoming's a pretty wide open space. It's just that nothing led there. If I had to go rock collecting, I'd want to go there for sure. There was a place in Medicine Bow that had iolite, uh, which is a very rare mineral. Has one color in sunlight and one color in um, fluorescent light, like blue versus purple. You know, subtle but very noticeable. And there's a lot of shit to find out there. Much better than worrying about a gold saga or feeling like we're getting used somehow. We're probably not getting used so much as we're the ones to watch. Like, if anybody's hoaxing anything, they've got to run it past us. It has to like survive. Or look, we'll find the flaw. We're just doing free work for them, finding the flaw in their story, and they just keep writing, just getting used, man. Yeah. Getting used, man. Yeah, right. I don't think they know what they're doing either. I think people just act like they do. Oh well. I'll just thrust authoritatively. I'm getting bleary eyed, mates. Holy shit. Ah. All right. I'm trying to read. I am reading. Okay. I'm reading. Yes. Visual landmarkers. Yes, I agree those could be used. Um, those could be used if they were not signaling, blazing right over a treasure or right near it or pointing or 300 feet or 500 feet or 1,200 feet. Nothing like that. There's no fishing line. There's nothing, no trail, no intentional thing. Nothing. Like, probably not even a lid showing or any obvious marker or any stack of rocks or anything. It might just look like it was freshly dug or it was dug 10 years before or whatever. Um, it's going to look like not much of anything because nobody would just find it anyway. I mean, I don't know. I've found tin cans everywhere. I go somewhere, I'm like, I'm finally out there. What the fuck? Crush a tin can, it's like, you sons of bitches, shake your fist at the sky. UFO! I actually shook my fist at a UFO on a fucking Fenn trip. I was so pissed off at it because it followed me. I swear to God. And I had the picture. I posted the picture, and then Freulen saw it. That's what I call her. That's not her real name. I don't want to use her real name. Freulen. Freulen? Yes, Herr Doctor. Listen, so I've shaken my fist at a UFO, and there's like this membrane it's made out of. It's like this plastic. It looks like it could be inflatable. I mean, it could be just like a clear blimp, kind of cloud fuzz color, white gray membrane, a little bundle at the bottom, this nut sack of like cameras or something. I even had binoculars. It was like 3,000 feet or more up and over. And I photographed it. The thing could zoom in. And it wasn't very distinct. It could have been 1/2 to 1.5 miles away, even, but I'd say within a mile. And then the Bushman, green Fed cop, I bailed real fast, and then he questions her, and I'm looking from a cliff, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, you're oh my god!" And anyway, it was really weird. It was like a debriefing. What are you people doing here? Whatever, acting like, I don't know, hard cop, which you never see in BLM or forestry, and because of this fucking UFO thing. So I'm like, what are y'all watching? Is that your thing? Anyway, yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of UFOs, and they're mostly the government. They're going to have fundraisers any day now. Look, believe in the UFOs. We need to raise a fund for it. Actually, it's a good secret way to raise a fund for fighting any rogue other superpowers in space, because that's probably where it would happen. They've already been firing, like there have been accusations between like China and Russia back and forth to the EU and US, all different four sides using like this little shot, pieces of shot, literal gravity bullet type thing, spheroids knocking out each other's shit. China has like a robot arm that'll take your satellite offline. Russia does something else, like they have drills or something. They'll drill your shit. Yeah, it's really weird shit in space, right? Because it runs all the phones and the news and the dishes and all this stuff, and control that. Somebody probably has a plan to knock it out and then control it or something. I don't know. It could really be aliens making us fight each other. I don't know. That's probably more doubtful and probably a little less likely. But they could, or anybody could be sprinkling COVID or whatever down on you. It could be raining aluminum and barium or whatever they say there is. Hell, I saw Amazon jets. I photographed it. They're fucking spraying shit during the pandemic. And then there's like, I don't know. Why am I even saying this shit? Well, because anything's likely. It could be an alien war. It could be something like that. It could be something like that. I'm in New Mexico for that reason. Like, before this other shit, I'm for this reason. Like, there's something, up in them hills, something out there. What do you got? Y'all got more? It's weird how I have to talk because the thing is on. Talk because the goddamn thing is on. So talk, you fool. It forces you to speak your mind. The database builds. Listen to all that terrorism they've been speaking of. Listen to the crazy thoughts that we can embarrass them with. We have enough now to impeach everyone. But me and my Napoleonic pacings of the floor on a late Saturday eve. Oh boy, look at that. Okay. Yep. Don't drop microscopic shit. You won't find it again. I just have a recorder implanted, like just a note-taking chase device. Like, thought for the day, latest breakthrough. Oh, this will be a slam dunk for sure. These other people are going down in a ball of flame. This will be the fucking. We are going to do this in 3 weeks. Okay, we're going to release documents, and it's going to be very serious. The documents. No, I'm just talking like these other people, the way they do it. They're like, we're going to have the. Why am I whispering here? So I'm in my own house, and I'm so worried that they know we're going to have the answer to the chase, baby! Yeah. I don't know. I do know. Ha, I'm kidding. It's either or. It's didactic. It's the double standard, eternal, double-edged standard. Medicine Bow had a 11,000-foot peak that I got ice from because we were out the cooler. It was further to go to the store, so I said, let's park here. And I can go about on a 200-foot walk over there and just plop the cooler into the snow and just have ice till we get to wherever. The healing powers, maybe some form of discovery, kind of like a good rocks. There was good minerals and streams there. Um, there was neat stuff around, you know, nice like anywhere, any old place with kind of steep terrain, and it's all got its look. It's got its certain trees. It's different waters, and none of them halt anywhere. It's in the poem. Now, spiritual places, man. I can tell you about that. Medicine Bow, yeah. Yep. I remember one of my early things was Yew, the tree. And then I started reading about the Osage bows and all this stuff. And there was bows that could bend and wood that bends and different things like that. And yeah, certain. We all learned a lot about like metals and woods and uses and colors and like places out in the Rockies. And hell, man, we should all meet during a I don't know, collapse or whatever. If I ever found spiritual reason to anything, I'll try to help people. No, really, I would if there was some big problem. I don't know. I suppose I know people enough to know my friends would take them on board the ship. You know, whatever. The big ships that show up and I don't know, world, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What's Putin up to? Why that psychos? Why? Oh God! SCOTUS. Oh man, Scopus. Politics. Nope. No, no, I get too strong on that. But I don't know. Okay, I'll try to sign off with something important. We're going on 3.5. I'm gonna have to get out soon, but maybe a thought on something. I don't know. Yeah, spirituality. What would be important? What is important? Um, whether you have a little or a lot, whether you have few or many, whatever. What is important? Um, hmm, truth. With truth has to be balance. Balance with that. Um, I don't know, maximizing your years, um, building a comfortable environment, um, who you surround yourself with. Spirituality. Nobody's ever really going to agree, on spirituality. It's not really ever going to be a perfect game with that. Whatever works for you. Maybe grab the sides of your screen with me and pray. Okay. All right. So put your hand on the set and pray with me. See, I'm just being stupid. But no, what if I really did that? What if I said, Lord, let us have the answers and the balance to process the answers and the depth of soul, rock and roll, and yeah, good times, good people, and all that. Amen. And so when I get this tired, my voice gets lower, and it's like, reach out and touch the face of God. This kind of came off as an Old Woods broadcast. Old Woods. Old Woods. Nearly flooded here. We nearly flooded. Like I said, the wide canyons were survivable, but the narrow canyons were toast. A lot of silt deposited, strata, layers, things disrupted, new features, things deposited on top of, other things stripped out and narrowed, gouged down further, erosion, rocks tumbling to and fro, roots showing, grasses leaning, willows leaning, all standing up now, but coming back pretty good. All the rock squirrels disappeared, and I saw their holes flooded because I knew where a couple of them were, and I was shocked after the flood to see these things mudded over. I even tried to open, like, are there things there? No, they probably took their little pups in their bags and went to the top of the hill. But the animals say a lot, right? They talk a lot, tell you things. Yeah. The weather, what the weather's going to do. The seasons, they eat all the food if you plant it, depending on if you're in a difficult environment, terrain, climate, semi-arid. You gotta, corn, beans, and squash literally do the best here, just like they always did. Um, Leafy greens are always eaten by everything. They go wherever anything holds any water, they're going to eat that up. Now that the monsoons come, the rains, it's like really good. You don't have to water anymore. And we've been trapping and relocating. They have been. That's not really my thing, but they relocate hundreds already. Uh, Ground squirrels and even mice and rats, and there's even these cute kangaroo rats with little circles around their eyes, little bright things. They're just cute, and they're always carrying something around. They're kind of like pack rat things. They're not the ones that carry Hanta. They're the really cute ones. They look like chinchillas or something. I don't know. Faces. Anyway, I'm getting wacky. I'm getting like, animals. No, it's been cool. The fucking rain, man, finally. God. The whole fucking state was burning too. It was like I was trying to do vocal tracks. No way. Nope. Couldn't even. Like a half octave was gone at the top end. Couldn't sing it. Um, yeah. Whatever. My life, right? Surroundings here. Um, Bike rides too. Take a good couple of rides. That was good. I want to put a camera on it, make it real shaky, like just show the brutality of these fucking bike rides that I take. My God, show like the just the jumpy nature of the machine and the ride, the terrain, that blue sky, blue. I zoomed in on it with the camera and it turned black. You could see the moon with blackness around it. That was weird. Um, been seeing a lot of ghosts walking around. The flood kind of agitated things. Thought I saw a bear scurrying up a hill, kind of with that ass shake that a bear has. Um, that kind of flopping, rump hair, kind of as it runs up a hill. Whatever. It was a honey colored brown. Ooh, I'm gonna go mine some gold. I'm gonna try to anyway. We had such eroding narrow features, like it really rips shit apart. And there has been known to be gold, definitely a history of gold nearby. So not too far away. Day trip. And I found a few grams, man. Found actually this lead silver masses that were the size of motorcycle batteries. They're like fucking pounds. I mean, 12 pounds, man. You know, and really interesting, weird shit that's heavy, like super heavy. It's not radioactive, thank goodness. Actually, fossils can be. Um, but yeah, floods turn up a lot of stuff. You see a flood rip everything out. Go look around, you'll find shit. You'll find it. I want to start blasting tunnels. I don't really want to make huge impacts or scar the earth much, but I do know how to get the gold out, and I do know where to hit. I know, and the amount of claims lately out there has gone to below half just in 2 years. You would think the pandemic would lead people outside. You'd think they would be all over it, right? Because there's nowhere to work and you can find gold or something. You can't actually effectively and, you know, reliably find gold if you know what you're doing and you're in the right spots. And the land is there to claim. There's less than half the claims now. There's a lot more. Practically every lot open. Um, Nobody is doing anything anymore outside. People don't even look at their fucking shoes when they're walking. Like, I'm going to tell you, like, I want to write a book called Where Gold Hides, right? And it would be the ultimate book, and it would be everything from where it hides in rock, solid rock, where it hides in dirt and gravel banks, different types of gravel and sand and strata and layers and different deposits and black sands, and but also where gold hides in electronics, where it hides in fucking shelves, where it hides in safes, where it hides when things get rough. where when it comes out, when it goes up or down, where gold hides, right? I don't feel like I know everything or the most about it, but I could probably give you a lot of pointers. Would it be all right in here? My soul is full. It's about to blow. My soul is on. Tricky answers. Yep. Yep. Get into there. Yep. Oh, in a current, in water. Yeah. That's hard to get in underwater. Um, Usually a large, flat spillway where so fast moving environment, water is number one. You always want to go where it slows down the most, where and also on the inner bend when it's going around a bend. There's also another trick I use. It's something I figured out in one spot I have, but it's an equatorial. It's the Coriolis effect. Everything in the northern hemisphere wants to go counterclockwise, and everything in the southern hemisphere wants to go clockwise, right? Whirlpools or whatever. So a river bend going towards the north, up and around, and then heading west in this hemisphere, the northern, is going to be very strong deposit on the bank, the inner bank of that, just because of the Coriolis effect also. And you can definitely, there's this one place that I'm really excited with, and it's just a sandbar shelf bench, a bench claim right near a river, creek, whatever. And it, I've only been checking what I would consider surface, like right around an exposed black sand layer, because I'm walking beside this, several feet high etch where the shelf drops off, and with every flood it washes down and does more other things. But it's this hard pack of layers throughout time with this one place. And it's really amazing, and I've barely gotten to check all of it. And I estimate thousands of buckets could be processed just in a very good zone. And I mean, I shouldn't be overly, I would find about a tenth of a gram per bucket reliably every bucket. If somebody wanted to keep going forever, if you wanted to process 1,000 buckets, 5 gallon buckets, we're talking probably filled to about 4 so you can carry it, of pay dirt, and very weak pay dirt. This is by far, actually, I've seen TV shows do worse than this spot, than what I got. Some, until they found something. But about a tenth of a gram per 4 gallon size dirt, right? 4 gallons in a 5 gallon bucket worth of dirt, tenth of a gram. And by today's standards, about $6 per tenth of a gram, 60 per gram. And if you have a sluice, if you have a fast running sluice, you don't constantly clean it and you don't lose a lot, and you can keep a process going, you can make some money. Now, my idea after the flood is to take the sluice out there and just drop it right in and high bank, but not high banking destructively, not with a jet of water, not like they do in some places. No, I'm talking about just shovel feeding my high banker and start running, instead of $6 every 15 minutes, run about a lot more than that. A lot more. $60 to $80 an hour, process on the spot. And, realistically, I'm not trying to overdo it here. I'm not trying to tell you any bullshit. But there is a way, and I even estimated 80 times what I'd processed in a day, But that would require a larger footprint machine. I'm not comfortable with that. I like the place a lot. I like nature, so I can keep my pockets a little thinner, keep the nature running a little smoother. I wish everybody would do it. I really do. If I really wanted to bust up a mountain, make $1 billion like some of these mines, I could do it. I know how. Maybe just a tunnel, just pull some specimens, man, have a little place I go. Take a hammer and chisel, do it the hard way, earn it. Well, no. So, you'd blow into it. You definitely want to set charges and do it. Reinforce it, whatever. I don't think I'd want to be taking 300-foot walks into anything I built. But a lot of these are just open pit and sidewall pit where you're 10 feet in. You might go 30 feet. You don't have to follow it to depth. Although they've got supposedly 2 mines out here that are 280 miles in one and 12 miles in the other. Yeah, it's like done 130 years ago, probably. But yeah, that's crazy shit. A lot to consider. You don't want fresh powder, dust. You don't want silica. You don't want metals, contaminants, whatever. You don't want. Then old mines have their problems too. Yeah, there's a lot of. I'm going to tell you. You walk into some of these mines, you see metal on the wall, and it's like, how are people leaving this here? Well, they're not even staring at their shoes. They're walking around looking at screens. They're worried about what people in the screen are doing. They're not even going to go find the ruby or whatever in the creek or anything. I found a piece of Texas topaz years ago from the hill country. I used to love going there. And got a very special personal space out there that I like. There's a place, a creek. And I found a chip of it that was ultra pure white blue topaz. And then I found I wouldn't say golf ball, smaller than a golf ball sized piece, 80 carat maybe, rough, but it had the shapes and it had tumbling from the creek, and it had a couple of basal fractures and yeah, it was nice. Found some neat shit. That thing's going up. Oh, and then movers lost it, and I think I might still find it in my shit, but I found practically everything else. But supposedly that is the most valuable or rare type of topaz, because Texas topaz doesn't have the imperial shape. It's not a wand shape or like a fat wand with 6 or 8 sides around it with like 2 basally cleaved top and bottom and perfect specimen like Brazilian topaz or London blue, which is irradiated gamma rays or whatever. No, the Texas blue only has a very narrow bandwidth of mostly blue, somewhat green, glass-like, and the shape is what is that called? Truncated rhombic. So it's a tilted shape. There's a certain shape that's tilted. It kind of looks like a futuristic bus windshield and like sides, and it's pretty cool. It's kind of neat crystal um, variety. But there's treasures out there besides this. There's most anywhere. I mean, it doesn't just have to be dug out of the ground or solved or whatever. It can be yard sales. It can be, you might even meet people that make all the difference. I mean, you never know what you're going to find. I mean, it could be anything. If it's a personal, spiritual item that you find at an adventure spot, you know, that's, I guess, ultimate. But this could happen many ways. You could find things. I think if I can send a positive message, because you could walk off into any world, you could stumble into anything good. It doesn't have to be a particular way. Maybe we get too hung up on things being a certain way. It could be somebody else's way. I'm not saying mine, man. I mean, I was thinking about my number one, my girl. It could be her way. Like, I can deal with that. Can follow sometimes. Um, but treasures, yeah, man. To have and to hold treasure. Past my damn bedtime, I'll tell you. I'm about 1:45 past my bedtime. Holy shit. But, you know, what do I have to do tomorrow? Not much. I already did 4 days of fucking road repair. Good community. On our own. And have to fix a road. You know. In the Mexican highlands. Yeah. And the economy. What do you think? Gas. And if they get us used to the $5 threshold, and I'm sure it's $5 at the cheapest now, pretty much. If they get us used to that, they're going to go $7, $8 for gas, man. They're going to try to do it for a while, make a lot of money, blame Biden. You know, it's not really. It's just direct, cut and dry business, politics, whatever. We're paying for it. Somebody loses, we pay. Somebody doesn't, we pay. Either way. But man, you know, the dream to go around that, to go around the bullshit, to go around shortages and to go around prices, and just have it all. Just have it, just whip it out, pay it. Here it is, throw money at it. Tell the other people to deal with the people. Whatever, you know. I haven't known that life. Be great. It would be great. Maybe I could do some good. I don't know. Try not to get sidetracked with anything if you have that. But yeah, find a bunch of gold, right? Culverts and everything. There's a lot of, a lot of our existing claims that are still in the area, even though there are far fewer since the pandemic. There is maximum unclaimed, probably the least claimed in 140 years, 160 even. It's an old place. But, if gold doesn't seem to go up, suspiciously gold does not go up. It stays down. 18, 30. What's the problem? Gas hitting $5 is like gold hitting 2,000. I would think it's pretty much, it should be a synonymous occurrence, right? But gold staying below 2,000. I'd say if gas were, I don't know, that's hard to say. $5 gas, 2,000 gold. It would be about right. Seems like the gas is going to go to $8, and the gold's going to hit only 2,200. That's my prediction on that. I did predict rhodium. I told people when it was $950 an ounce to buy that shit. It has gone to 14,000 an ounce before. It's gone to 15 times its value. Then they did and freaked out because, like, a dude I know bought an ounce of rhodium for about $1,200, and it was worth $30,000 4 years later, just for a while, a couple months. $30,000 for an ounce for $1,200. Tell you what, go to a loan shark, man. Next time, buy 10 ounces of that shit. No, I'm kidding. Fuck that. Don't borrow too much like that. Yep. Man, damn, wow. Fucking what? I better get out. Yep. I'm gonna break away. Tell you what, you guys, yeah, never stop looking for gold, man. I will say always look for gold. It's fun. Even if you found a lot of gold, I'll bet you wouldn't sell it all. I'll bet you wouldn't. You'd keep a piece of that. And be good. Be good. And enjoy the day. Try to wake up early, y'all. All right, good night. Yes, it's nighttime. It is bedtime. Good night, officially. Peace.